rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was called with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your number one Chief Rockin' Knicks Universe, your main man, Uncle Freezy. What's good? What's good? What's good? Salute. Andios is in the building. HRM is in the building. Tori B is in the place to be. What's good? What's good? What's good? We made it, y'all. So we made it. We made it to the end of the regular season. And it seemed like it would take us forever to get here, but we are here. I'm going to pull up something, man, because I promised y'all I would, and y'all know how I am. You go back here. I'm going to see if I can find it. Where is it? Where is it? I promise y'all we talk about the wins and loss total from the beginning of the year, right? There are some, where is it? Roster building. No. Resache. No. Where is it, man? Point guard depth, center depth, Knicks breakout player. Okay, I thought the Knicks breakout player was going to be Dante DiVincenzo. Wow. Wow. Everybody, back in October, I thought the Knicks breakout player was going to be Dante. Dang it. So much for predictions, right? King Emmett said, it felt like the last game of the preseason was just other day. Yeah, man. Miguel Pete in the building. Yo, I thought Dante was gonna be the Knicks breakout player. That's wow, bro. That's crazy. I'm looking for my win prediction right now. I want to see if I can find it. Where is it? Where's the win prediction at? Yo, we did the point guard ranking at the beginning of the season, and we projected Jalen Brunson to be the fourth best point guard in the NBA. We had John Morant ahead of him. That's crazy. I'm going to see if I can find this thing, man. Yeah. Oh, I found it. I found it, everybody. Oh, wow. Wow. Uncle Freezy, you was wilding out here. Yo, I was wilding, y'all. Watch this. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all what we talked about. Yo, we was wilding out here. This is crazy. Let me make this a little bit. Let me see if I can. All right, let me do this. Put this out here like that. All right. So the YouTubers. All right, spreadsheet. Stop moving so fast. Maybe I need to. I'm gonna shrink it a little bit because I want to talk about. I want to talk about where we were in that mindset. Yo, this is crazy. Yo, the average YouTube contributor that came out and rocked the spot with us had us averaging 59 wins. That's how excited we. Now, mind you, I did not touch this spreadsheet since then, right? I did not touch this spreadsheet since then. And so what I wanted to do is briefly talk about how we felt in October versus how we feel now, right? How we felt in October versus how we feel now, and then how we feel now versus how we'll feel in June, right? Just want to speak about that briefly, like how we felt in IKBM Dre in the building. Salute. JM in the building. Salute. How we felt in October versus how we feel now. I'm not going to lie to you. In October, I felt like Julius Randle's scoring numbers were going to drop, but I thought Randle was going to be, and this is October, everybody. This is October when we first started, thinking about the regular season, right? This is when we didn't know what Precious was going to look like. We thought Mitch was going to be here at the beginning of the season. There was a lot of optimism at the beginning of the season. We thought Mitch was going to be back. We didn't know Mitch was going to be out until March 1st. Right. There are a lot of things going on. We didn't know what Mikal Bridges was going to look like here. Right. There was a lot of things going on. We had no idea. So we were speculating a lot. This is, as a matter of fact, the era that we did this. Randall was here. Dante was here. Keita Bates Diop was here. A lot of people were here. Right. And we were very optimistic coming off of the Indiana playoff series because we felt like we belonged in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the only thing that stopped us from getting there was health. Anybody remember that? Remember that feeling? Y'all remember that feeling, right? Drip Moore's in the building. Salute. Y'all remember that feeling, right? Remember how last summer we felt like the only thing that was stopping us from getting to the Eastern Conference Finals was health. And then all summer we thought, when Mitch comes back, who's going to be the backup center? That was our mindset when we started putting our predictions out there. Right? So we had a lot of feelings. And I remember, listen, I saw y'all comments here on this channel, and I also saw a lot of your comments on other channels. We were really optimistic. And then the cat trade happened, and some of us were sad. I was one of them. No disrespect to Karl Anthony Towns, right? But y'all know how I feel about Julius Randle and Dante. Right? And so the trade happened, and we got Karl Anthony Towns, and we were thinking like, hey, we're losing Randall and Dante, but Cat is legit an all-star. And if you add an all-star next to Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, well, things change. Things change. So we have about a week to talk about the Pistons. So instead of talking about the Pistons all week, what I wanted to do is talk about our season a little bit. And then talk about some Pistons. Want to thank though before we get started in earnest, want to thank everybody that has contributed to growing the channel. I think the channel is at about 6,900 subscribers, something like that. So we've had tremendous growth late in the season. I imagine all the Knicks content creators are experiencing that. I guess we can call it the playoff bump. I guess we can call it. Everybody's excited for Knicks playoff basketball. What I want to say though, in a review of the season, and I guess in like 700 or 800 words or less, is this. Great job by Tom Thibodeau for getting us here. Great job by the organization for letting this thing play out and not doing something random at the trade deadline. I think the season overall was great. It had ups and downs in it. And that is just about when you watch a 82 game marathon under the microscope, there are always going to be some ups and downs, some positives, some negatives, some discoverables. Y'all know what I mean by discoverables, like some things that you didn't know. I'll give you an example of a discoverable. OG Anunoby's offense. Right? So we found some things. You're like, wow, look at OG. Mitchell Robinson with footwork, a discoverable. That had been one of those things that we were saying for a while, like, hey man, Mitch been here for some. And then we find out that Mitch does have offense around the rim. He just doesn't get the opportunity to show it off. Fitz is in the building. So throughout the season, this is what I'm going to say about the season. Even though the Knicks did not win as many games as I thought they would win, which is not a knock on them because we had no idea the severity of Mitchell Robinson's injury, right? We had no idea how severe the Mitch injury was. And so now that the injury seems to be over and Mitch is contributing, we're at a place like, man, if we knew Now, what we knew back in October, we probably wouldn't have predicted the Knicks to win 60 games. We probably would have been more in that 50 game range, especially after we made the prediction. After we made the prediction, Precious got hurt, missed 21 games. Landry Shamet got hurt, missed 30 something games. Deuce missed, I think Deuce missed like 15 games this year. Jalen Brunson missed 15 games this year. Right? So there were a lot of things that happened this year. If we could if we knew or could have seen certain things, we probably would have tempered the win-loss. Now, I'm not saying the success. I'm just talking about the win-loss total. The win-loss totals is what I'm saying. I think Tom Thibodeau did a fantastic job of getting the Knicks here to this place. Anybody in the chat have any positives and negatives they want to share about the season? Let's get it out of our system. Yesterday, I think Tom Thibodeau did a fine job with the regular season. It was commendable. Was it great? Nah. I think the Knicks as a franchise were faced with a bunch of challenges, but all NBA teams are faced with challenges. Go ahead, chat. Say your thing. Say your thing. Do your thing. Don't hide your words. Mike Hansen was good. Mike Hansen says the Landry Shamet love was fun this season. Hey man, you ain't about to have me cussing up here and get us banned by YouTube again, bro. We was in baby jail for like 2 years. Like we was in baby jail for like 3 years, bro. We ain't ready to go. We not ready to go back to YouTube baby jail, bro. Now was the time for you to say your thing, man. Express your opinion. Virtuoso in the building. Jerry Fitz says, I'm not sure this locker room is 100% together like last year's was. Wow. You got to expand on that, bro. You got to expand on that, man. And also want to say, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. YouTube told me I have to say that more often to remind folks about the call to action, because sometimes we just forget. Sometimes we get enamored with the conversation, and sometimes we just forget stuff like hitting the like button. So that was a reminder from YouTube about our partnership. So Jerry Fitz, you gotta expound on that, bro. Dripmore says rotations could have been much, much better. Right. Even today, even in what felt like a preseason game. HRM says, so PJ Tuck is our locker room leader in less than a month. Dripmore says, as talented as this year's team, we should have at least 60 wins. Miguel P says still driving it like it's a beta. Yeah. Parallel parking all crazy. Where are my people at? I need some positive vibes. What we thinking? Tori B says, I think we watched the growing pains of a new team in real time and still managed to be the 3 seed in the East. Yep. King Ember says Tibbs gets a B minus. Rotations could have been better for sure, especially on back-to-backs. Yep. Fitz says Han alluded to it on the playoff preview. Locker room may be split, not quite all for one and one for all. I will say I think that is overstated. Mike Hansen says Mike was the MVP this season for sure. This right here, I want to talk about it and I don't want to talk about it. So I want to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it because split is a very strong word. When you allude to split, it may mean people don't like a certain situation. And I'm going to say no to the split thing, but I'm also going to say players may have a difference of opinion. And you're going to have and I'll say this in a way that makes sense to everybody. And not that it's the way, but it's how I feel. Anytime you have a bunch of talented people in one room and you take one person out of that room and thrust them to a certain place, the ones that feel like they're just as talented or maybe better are going to feel a certain way. Right? Anytime you take a team of talented people, individuals, and I mean any group, whether it's work related, family related, whatever, right? Anytime you have a bunch of talented individuals in one place, and one person is lifted up out of that group, it's natural for the people that feel like they're more talented and didn't get that love to feel a certain way. And while I'm not saying it's a split based on that specifically, what I'm saying is if there is a split, if that may be the reason. And it'll be up to those individuals to see how long that issue, that's splitting them, how long they want to stay with that person. If there is a split, I think it starts with Mikal Bridges. And I'm not saying that he's a troublemaker. I'm saying that that brother is exceptionally talented, came to the Knicks, took a lesser role, got bashed in the media for taking that lesser role. And you don't often hear people come to his defense. People say stuff like, man, he gonna be all right. Yeah, he a pro. He gonna be all right. Right? But you don't hear people often say, dang, man, Mikal Bridges does a lot for this team. And he is an unsung hero. Right? I think Mikal Bridges is, if there is a split, if there is a split, and listen, by the time Alan Hahn, the mouthpiece of Madison Square Garden, by the time Alan Hahn alludes to it to the public, it's already a raging inferno. Y'all can best believe by the time Alan Hahn lets on that there may be a split, then there's a raging inferno going on. It's already like at a thing, but not a personality split, a split based on role. Like, why am I getting smashed up on screens all night and the other dude don't even have to play defense? That type of thing. Roles. JB in the building. Spree in the building. Salute. Let me move some things here. I'm just going to move a couple of things around here. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to y'all. I know y'all. I see y'all out there. Man, salute to the replay gang. The replay gang is out there. Legit, like, coming through. Troy B says, I feel like folks need somebody to blame, and Mikal is an easy target. Ooh. I got to think about that. I ain't even gonna front. The easy target part, I got to think about that. What do you mean by easy target? Randall 1973 is in the building. Salute. The easy target part kind of has me thinking in a way like I need to give that some more thought. Top Notch T in the building. Yo, we got to get together this summer. We got to do an event down here this summer, a couple of events down here this summer. I don't know where we're gonna do it at, man, but we have to do it somewhere, man. Like somewhere. Charlotte, Florence, Columbia, somewhere we can all get together and hang out and then do a Knicks thing. I know for sure we're gonna try to get one done in Brooklyn, probably in July. So they gave up 5 picks for him, and he struggled a little bit to find his place here. Instead of giving him some grace, they dogged him at every. Mm. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put a star by this because I need to think about. I need to think about that. Fritz House Indoors in the building.
Hey, how's it going?
Bro, I don't know. I don't know what Tory B is trying to get us to do. So Tory B put a comment here, and it's a very, 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 very smart and well thought out comment. And it's got me in a place where I'm thinking about what was said, and my thoughts on. So I'm thinking back about to how I felt during the regular season based on what she said. You feel me? Like instead of me saying, "Nah, that wasn't me," you know what I'm saying? I'm just going back like, "Hey, was I really feeling like that about Bridges?" Because what I remember lately is saying that we need to incorporate Bridges more. We need to give Bridges more touches. We need a tall guard that can kind of work his magic. Now, if I did feel that way, right? Was it a heat of the moment thing, or was there malice? Right? Because if it's heat of the moment, we can say it was like feathers in the wind. You know, so you get mad in the heat of the moment, and then 10 minutes later, you be back to, you know, even level-minded thinking.
Yeah, I really didn't have issue with Mikel.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna blame him. Like I'm gonna put the blame elsewhere. But because because you saw when Brunson went out, Mikel asserted himself.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a Mikel issue. It's about the coach has to put it all together. That's on the coach.
Right.
If he was like he was in the beginning of the year, you know, the beginning of the year shooting like 2 for 18, he wasn't shooting 2 for 18.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's okay. That's on Tibbs. It's on Tibbs to make a system that works for Brunson and Mikel. This is the one thing I'm gonna definitely say is on coaching. Like Phil Jackson had a job just for that. That was Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson had a job. He made a career of how can I get these stars to maximize their potential. And I think that's where Tibbs is. Tibbs is like, oh, we're just gonna run it out there. Brunson's gonna get what he get. But no, it's about everybody maximizing the talent. That's the coach. That's the coach's job. Isn't like Mikel was shooting 1 for 18 every game. So how can I get Brunson to score and Mikal to score at the same time. And recently, a lot of times, Mikal was only shooting like 5-6 shots a game. That shouldn't happen. Why is he only shooting 5-6 a game? I mean, it wasn't as if he was passing up shots. You didn't go into the game and say, "Oh, Mikal's just, man, he's just passing up shots today." It's on the coach to bring it all together. I think there's a big difference between you're missing shots in the environment. It's just not. It's the system ain't working for everybody.
I'm going to double check something real quick. So let me first start by saying this. Last year, Jalen Brunson averaged 28.7 points a game. Last year, Jalen Brunson attempted 21 shots a game. Last year, Jalen Brunson averaged 6.7 assists per game. Right? This year, Jalen Brunson averaged 26 points a game. He averaged a career high 7.3 assists per game. Right? He also took 3 less shot attempts per game than he did last year. Right? Jalen Brunson took 18 and a half shots per game. Right? Tell you where is another downtick. Jalen Brunson only attempted 6 threes a game. Right? Jalen Brunson this year shot a Knicks low. I'm talking about his career, his Knicks career, right? Low 38% from 3. Right? Jalen Brunson shot 38% from 3 this year as a Knick. Right? Now, I know how we could take those numbers. We could take those numbers and shove them, right? We can say, hey, guys were out. Jalen Brunson had to carry a load. Things were new. He had to incorporate whatever. I saw Jalen Brunson do the same thing last year, and he was more effective. Right? What I'll say is Jalen Brunson shared the ball more this year than he has in previous years. Now, what I think that did, in a weird sense, though, is it kind of neutered some of the assassin in him. Right? Like, I think it took away some of the I want to say a word, but I don't want to get on YouTube's blacklist. It took away some of JB's
prime time. Yes.
It took away some of JB's effectiveness. Right? Now, what I will say is what we'll immediately think is, right? What we'll say is, hey, you know what? It's because Cat's here. Well, Karl Anthony Towns took less shots this year than he did last year, and he also took less shots than Julius Randle took last year, but was more productive. So with Cat sliding into Julius Randle's role of weight carry, right? Scoring is easier. Cat is a more efficient scorer than anyone on the team. Even though Cat has bad nights and things of that sort, Cat is Cat was Cat. And one of the other things too is hadn't played these many minutes per game as an NBA pro since guess who was his coach?
Yeah. Yep. Since Tibbs.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I understand what you're saying about Mikal Bridges. What I want to do is draw a correlation to Bridges, Cat, OG, Deuce, and Brunson. Because we know Josh Hart didn't steal shots. Know that for a fact, right? Sure enough, wasn't Josh Hart taking nibbling shots from people?
I think he definitely, yeah, he definitely shot more this year.
Because let me ask you this. Who do you think was the most aggressive scorer on the season? The guy looking the most aggressive to score, OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges? I'll save you. I'll save you. I'll save you. I'll let you save your breath on that. It's Mikal Bridges.
Okay.
It's Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges takes more shots than OG Anunoby.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say at points it was OG, but yeah, it's Mikal.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's what I'm trying to. So I want to figure out. Now I knew, and I think Bridges knew that he wasn't going to come to New York and take 19 shots a game like he was in Brooklyn. 19 shots a game, you have to be a franchise player, bro. 20 shots a game, you got to be a franchise player, bro.
Yeah. I thought it would be easier. That's the one thing when I'm looking at it, it's not as easy as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna come in and be like, I thought he was gonna come in and be kind of like KD. Like, we're gonna set him up and he's just gonna knock him down. Like,
who was gonna set him up though?
Yeah, well, it would have had to been JB, but JB ain't. Yeah, he ain't that advanced. The system ain't that advanced. Like,
yeah,
we not moving the ball like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What I would say to that's why when Tory B mentioned that about the person to blame, I was like, ooh, that's delicate. That's like legitimately a show topic for like two really smart people to talk about. Like two really savvy basketball folks to talk about. And so for me to sit back and listen, right? I would like give that topic to like two savvy people and just sit back and listen to them chop that up.
Yeah, because
right.
I don't think it's fair. I think you could have taken Mikal, and if you put Mikal on Golden State, it would have been a different Mikal. Like, I don't think anybody would be complaining. I think it's just the system just don't.
Oh, it's the system. Hold on. Hey, Fritz, hold on. Let me. I want to do something real quick. I want to thank this brother real quick. I want to say thank you to IKBM Dre. About a month ago, I talked to him about turning this channel into the Ringer, that type of channel where we take like these ideas and we chop them up and we have like the dialogue and have it not be like the Gong Show, but have it be more like a joint that people can kind of learn from and get used to. And since we had that conversation, well, and since we had that conversation, me ending my beef with YouTube behind the scenes, me thanking the people on screen more, which I probably should have been doing more of, thanking people for coming through and rocking, subscribing, hitting the like button, all that stuff. Since then, the channel has gotten a little bump. Is it the bump that we kind of wanted? But we getting there. So I just want to say shout out to IKBM Dre. Thank you for helping me behind the scenes figure out some things intellectually to kind of help the channel grow. Dre, what's good, man?
Hey man, thank you for sharing the platform with me, first and foremost. What up, Frizzy? What up, Fritz?
Salute.
Hey, what's
And
up, Trey?
I wanted to tag in on this conversation that you're having. Some of it's on the player and the deploy, like it's on deployment, roster lineups, like lineups that you put together on the
Yep.
court,
Yep.
and him inexplicably changing his shooting form.
Yep.
So he came into the season timid. He's gotten a little bit more aggressive in terms of shooting the three, especially above the break. But
Right.
as far as like deployment, it hasn't been the most keen. We haven't necessarily decided to run things for him. Like when we first acquired him, we thought, oh, he's going to run the bench units and he's going to be like the de facto playmaker
Yep.
for the bench units. And we didn't see that, not one lick. We see OG with the bench more than we see Macau with the bench.
Yeah.
So that is deployment. And then utilization is like, I mean, not even utilization, it's roster lineups that don't make sense. He's consistently on the court with Josh, and like if you look up their analytics or you look up their net rating with one another, they're like a +4 with one another. And when they play without each other, they spike +10 in net rating. So they're better apart than together. And my hunch is because neither of them want to take the above the break three, you're not stretching the defense, you're not being a threat. And when you have two of those guys on the court that don't want to take that three from 24, 25 feet at any given time, it shrinks the court. It makes your offense a little bit more predictable. When McCall gets a screen, they're just going to go under the screen and wait for him and catch him in that, try to get to that mid range. And I think their two games like conflict with one another, but you're never going to really see them without one another because Tibbs always values having those two guys with one another instead of breaking them up or breaking up the monotony. It's one of those things to me. I think it's a combination of him changing his form inexplicably, and he's getting more comfortable with it. And it wouldn't shock me this time, well, not even this time next year, but coming into training camp with another offseason under his belt with that new form, it wouldn't shock me he becomes even more consistent with it, and he adjusts to range. Because if you noticed at the beginning of the year, when he took those threes above the break, it was short. He wasn't generating enough power to the rim with those shots, which
Yeah.
is why he didn't even want to take them in the first place.
Right.
Which is why he almost exclusively took them on fast breaks because he's coming downhill with momentum to pull up and have like that additional power. Like his accuracy is still the same. It's just he's short very oftentimes because of the new form. So it's one of those things where we expected more out of McCall, and we all expected more out of McCall, but at a certain point, it's like you actually gotta cater to his skill set if you want him to be that guy. Because he's not gonna be the ball dominant guy. He's not gonna just say I'm gonna take over. It's just not his personality. So you have to cater to him. And also at the same time, to keep it a buck, Freezy, we we have two all NBA starters that are offensive first players that need to get theirs. And OG got paid $200 million and he wants to break out as an offensive star. At some point, like it's not it's like four players can't average 20. It's just even at this point we have like the highest scoring starting lineup, like damn near in NBA history. So it's like you can't get four guys to get 20, but at that same point, could we see them get the same touches but be even more efficient? Which is kind of scary to say, but I feel like there is some untapped potential in terms of just straight up being more efficient on the touches that you do get.
That's why I think the Jamal Murray trade this summer is going to put us on a path to a championship. Bam!
Jamal Murray.
Pow!
You don't have to explain that one to me.
Nah, not right now, bro. It's the playoffs. We'll talk about that during the summer.
Okay. Hey, you say we keeping a little nuggets
Yeah.
backstory.
No pun intended. I'm keeping a nugget. No pun intended.
Yeah, after they burned down New York.
Hey, man. Yeah, man. Hey, yeah. And app. That's what I've been hearing. Right? What I've been hearing, like legitimately, I don't know who like these people are, but people like DM me like if Fritz, once Fritz starts, like once the NBA economy show gets a little bit more momentum, what Fritz is going to realize is that people are going to hit you up randomly, like with stuff. Like you're just going to see a username like on Instagram. It's going to be like, knock, who's there? 1, 2, 3 is going to be like, yo, hey man, you know what I heard? I heard the Knicks tried to trade for Jamal Murray at the trade deadline. They just couldn't get all the pieces to go. And then you like, hey man, if you ever send me some garbage like this, bro, I'm gonna report you to IG. Right? I'm gonna report you. Are you a bot? and then what they do is constantly send you stuff, and then you'll be like, like they'll send you stuff, and it'll be like 2 months early, and then you'll see it unravel and then be true. And then you be like, oh, they sent me this like 2 months ago. And so Frizz, like that's how I come. I've been out like legit. The ham sandwich mafia used to hit me, like DM me and be like, yo, why you be talking about ground? He a prick out star, man. Quentin just be and like calling him by his first name, like that's his cousin. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, yeah. So, but whatever. I digress. What I think we could do though is if we look at McKelvin. Lee, what's good, bro?
What's good, gentlemen? How y'all brothers doing?
Good, man.
It's good, Corey.
Having
Yeah.
Everything straight. Where you at, Corey?
I mean, as far as I got some shit going on, but I'll be all right. Always got some shit going on. Excuse me,
man. That's all I need to hear, man.
Lee trying to get us back. Lee, if you two,
my bad.
Bro.
I want to kick myself in the forehead right now. I want to kick myself in the forehead right now. If I could, boy, if I was flexible like I used to be, I would have did it. But I always got some stupidness going on, I should say.
Yeah, man.
I'm happy to hear y'all. I'm happy to see you out here, Dre. I'm out here with the smart guys.
we trying to learn something, bro.
I got my calculator. You just can't see it right now. It's in my hand.
IBM Plus?
Yeah. With the pen protector.
Oh my God, you cooking with Crisco now.
Yeah, man. And I'm gonna finish my thought with Bridges just real quick, y'all.
Go ahead.
I think the Bridges thing is not just a on-court thing. I think what we're figuring out is that there is high basketball IQ and then there is high basketball IQ, right? Like when you put Draymond Green on the floor with a high basketball IQ, he knows how to manipulate a defense and make the right play and get it to make the correct basketball play based on moving parts, right? And then there are situations where it's like somebody grabs a rebound and traffic pushes it the length on the floor and recognizes the personnel and goes to the rim and hit a layup, right? That's high basketball IQ because you recognize your personnel. And then there's like an elevated basketball IQ where it's like, you know how to manipulate the defense based on time and score, based on coaching tendencies, based on player tendencies, right? Based on your own team's bio, like LeBron. Like how LeBron is like the human calculator, like his basketball IQ is so high. And so what I think at times is we say the team has high basketball IQ, but you constantly see plays where you're like, what are you doing? And so we have like high basketball IQ in like certain spots. But when Mikal Bridges gets the screen and turns the corner, why is Landry Shamet or Josh Hart cutting in the lane, bringing their defender into the lane? Right? I know why Josh Hart wants to do it. Right? Because Josh Hart is not a shooter and he wants to clear up the perimeter. But at the same time, by clearing up the perimeter, you clog up the paint. Now, Landry Shamet doing it, you're like, you have no reason to be down here, because even if that ball comes off the rim, what are you going to do?
You ain't getting that board.
Right. You're not going to box out. You're not going to tip it to anybody. Right. You basically drew your defender to the paint where Mikal Bridges, who wanted to get to the paint as close as he could, can't. Now he has to stop and pull up with a midi. Now, is he good? Is he good in the mid-range? Yes. But giving that player options is a bonus. And so when we look at Bridges do some of the things, we're wondering, like, excuse me, why is he not more aggressive? Well, RJ Barrett would have saw Landry Shamet down there and still drove to the paint and threw it off the shot clock. Right? Bridges is thinking, man, I'm not driving down there and it's already 2 Knicks and 3 defenders down there. What's the point? I'm gonna just pull up from right here. Right? Now, could he make from there, find a player on the perimeter for an open 3 or something like that? Our guys we're not built like that. We're not built to put up a bunch of threes. We're built to knock down the threes that we get.
I agree. These guys, because we had like Dante that was willing to put up the threes from like the hash. These guys want their tippy toes right on the line. And there's a certain level of gravity that you're missing when you don't have those types of guys that are quick trigger from 30 plus feet out. And when we go, and the ironic part about it is the only guy on their team that would have that quick trigger is Cat. And I don't think we emphasize it enough. Like, if it was another team or another coach, Cat would probably get those 30-footers up. If Joe Mazzulla was his coach, he would get up like 3 or 4 of them 30-footers a game, let alone attempts. But if you've been noticing recently, Cat has only been getting like 3.5 attempts from 3 over like the last month and change.
Cat's hasn't made any sense.
Yeah, his utilization doesn't make any sense. But my inkling is Tibbs wants him in the paint as much as possible for rebounding. That's my main inclination.
And so I'm gonna disagree with y'all slightly on that. And listen, I'm not disagreeing with y'all. Well, let me state that I'm gonna disagree slightly on the point. I think one of the things that we forget about is that Cat is a big physical dude and he wants to mix it up. But Cat is a big physical dude with a skill set, like with that 3-point skill set. Like, in my mind, I think the 2 things that Cat value the most is rebounding and scoring. Right? And if you're around the perimeter, like Jaren Jackson a lot, like if you're around the perimeter, you basically get half the rebounds you normally get. Like, I think Cat averaged like 12.8 or 13 rebounds or something like that.
Yeah,
I think
his overwhelming majority of his rebounds is defensive rebounds.
Okay.
Like, he's not a dominant offensive rebounder.
Yeah.
He might get 1 here and there, but he ain't exactly Mitch down there.
Yeah, so he's getting like 3 a game. Right? I think he wants to grab boards. That's what I think. I think he wants to grab boards. And I understand and I understand your point. I think that's a great point. And maybe I'm wrong. Not saying I'm totally right. I may be wrong.
I'm more or less going with what Tibbs has shown me and compared to where Cat was in his career before he came here. And he was getting up more threes, even while playing as the 4.
So, and how he started the year.
Yeah, and We already know Tibbs values rebounding more than life itself. Well, values rebounding and not turning the ball over. And after a certain amount of time, like those bad habits collect over and over and over if you don't emphasize these things. And I understand where you're coming from, Freezy, where he'll Cat will turn down an open three, or not necessarily an open three, or a slightly contested three to go drive. Sometimes he needs to pull that shot, and also sometimes our guards need to actually dribble with their heads up. There's been so many times, not even a Brunson thing. I mean, so many times Deuce is dribbling. He gets that screen from Cat. Cat is waiting for the ball. He's literally just begging for the ball. And Deuce is like dribbling around and not looking back to kick it out. Like, some of it is basketball IQ. Some of it is like, even if Tibbs doesn't emphasize it, you as a player, you need to know, like, I need to space out and I need to know where Cat is at all times because he is one of the most effective offensive players in the entire league. And sometimes we get a screen from Cat and we just be dribbling into space, don't know what we're doing with that space.
Okay.
I'm talking about Josh Hart and even McCall, Brunson, and Deuce. Like sometimes they get a screen from Cat and Cat is like 25 feet spotted up, waiting for the ball.
Yeah.
And the team is taking your drive away, and we still trying to dribble into it. Some of that is, coaching needs to dig in on them for that. And some of that is like naturally, you have to have a high enough basketball IQ. You have to have a feel for that, especially as the game is going. Because I remember we just played the Pistons and Cat got 1 3-point attempt up. That made absolutely no sense. And that blame falls on a myriad of players. It falls on the ball handlers, it falls on Cat, it falls on coaching.
Okay. Okay. I feel you. I was in Charlotte today. I was in Charlotte.
Okay.
I was in Charlotte this morning, Sunday morning, and drove all the way home in enough time to rock with Anthony D. Old School Knicks. Y'all make sure y'all check out Old
Shout
School
out to
Knicks.
AD.
Yeah. There was an episode of Old School Knicks. I'm gonna tell you. Let me see. There
Don't
was a
forget that Esquire.
yeah. Right now, Old School Knicks. That show has 4,800 views. 480 views, and I expect that number to end up somewhere in the 2,000 range after the replay game. But last week, Old School Knicks got, where is it? What day was March 30th? Oh yeah, man. The last show, the last Old School Knicks we did before today, last Sunday, that show got 3,900 views. That show got 3,900 views. So thank you everybody and I know 3,900 views compared to the other entities in Knicks Universe is not amazing, but for us, 3,900 views is amazing. So
It's amazing.
yeah, thank y'all, man, for that. I appreciate that. And I think that was off the strength of us getting back to thanking the viewers and such. Cash, what's good, bro?
What's up, man? I come and do my quick cameo in the middle of the night.
Salute, Cash.
What's
up,
good,
man?
brother?
What's good? What's good?
The channel's growing,
That's what's
bro.
good.
We're trending right now at about like 600 views. 600 subscribers per month or something. I can't remember the number, but so it was like a weird like thing all of a sudden, bang, all of a sudden we just like getting a bunch of subscribers, and in that age group looks like international females between the age group of 25 and 45 somehow just out of the blue just all of a sudden just taking us to the top. So hey ladies, if y'all out there, we appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't just them. I'm saying they're leading the pack. I'm not saying just them, but I'm saying that maybe I need to go back and do a deep dive to see if it's our Caribbean and South American viewers, but wherever they from, salute to all of them. Cash, what you got, bro?
Enjoyed the last day victory and looking forward to the playoffs, man. Getting ready.
Okay.
Getting ready.
So what we were talking about is Mikal Bridges' impact. But let me tell you, I'm gonna just tell you something to make you laugh. You know, Tibbs played Lil Freezy 11 minutes today, right?
Lil Freezy.
You know that thing had me hot, bro. Last game of the season, you're gonna play Landry Shamet 40 minutes, and Lil Freezy gonna play 11 minutes.
PJ Tucker got like 30 minutes. Freezy.
And Lil Freezy got 11 minutes.
But on the bright side, Freezy, we set back their pick like 4 spots by just playing. So.
Yeah.
The Nets pick that we gave them, it went from 22 to 26 off that one.
Awesome. But here's one of the things I wanted to say to Fritz. Fritz, did the kid Kev McCullough? You know that dude in Portland that you like? The Tomorrow kid? Tamari Kamara?
Yeah.
Every day, our guy is looking more and more like
closer.
him. Closer, yep.
Yeah.
The only thing is that Kev McCullough and Deuce McBride are the same age.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing, right?
He looks bigger. He looks bigger than I thought he was.
And
like
stronger, bro. This dude is stronger than I saw him.
Because I'd say 6'5", 6'6". No, he looks big. He looks
6'7",
6'6", but he's developed because he's 24. He's not 19.
Yeah,
his body he's a full grown man.
Yeah. And the one thing I did want to say today, just real quick about Lil Freezy is, I saw the glimmer. Like somehow they swung the ball to him, and he got a defender on an island, and I saw him go. And no lie, hand to the man, I saw him go, bap bap, bap bap bap, bap bap bap, and Deuce came running to him like, yo, and I was like, God dog it, Deuce. This man legit whipped out a handle that we hadn't seen from him in a game, and Deuce went over and got the ball from him.
And he ain't do nothing with it in that.
Dre, this man put the ball on the string. It wasn't nothing but like 3 seconds, right? But you saw him do the squat dribble and you know what I'm saying, get ready to take off, pat.
He sized them up.
Yeah, and then Deuce came and got the ball from him. So
you just ruining confidence for no reason.
So you know, in the last game of the season with nothing on the line, you can try certain things or whatever, and you know, and whatever. But the fact that we saw a glimmer of handle, I'm like, hey man, hey, yeah, I think it's something's there. Kev McCullough looked all right. Pacom Donnie's defense, Dre, his defense is glue, is sticky, but he's not finished. He don't have any edge yet.
Sometimes he gets aloof, but if he's engaged in the play, he can be a difference maker.
It's because he's learning. He's learning
he's learning his body as well.
He's still young, man. He's still young. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Whereas McCullough, I mean, even Tibbs had given him some praise in the press conference.
Yeah, Kev McCullough.
I see him. Yeah, I see him. Maybe doing a little something next year. Next season. Maybe.
Kev McCullough might be in the rotation.
So. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Because it depends on obviously a lot is going to depend on how these playoffs are going to roll and when the season ends, how it ends. So I guess we have to wait and see.
Yeah. His season's over, so he can't play in the playoffs.
We didn't give him a standard NBA contract. That was it.
So he's done for the year.
Yeah.
He had his rights though. So
got his rights. So he gonna get signed this summer for cheap.
Yeah,
He
he'll
gonna
get.
get that 360 deal.
that death row contract,
Yeah, they gonna give him a Terror Squad necklace.
they gonna hang him off the balcony and force him to sign that contract.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, business hours on Monday through Friday. Yeah, that type of contract.
4 years, 13 million.
Yeah,
Take it or leave it.
yeah,
Yeah, he'll get a he'll get Deuce's contract.
Yep.
yeah, yeah. That
Not
Jericho
even.
Sims contract.
Not even. Yeah.
Yeah, but just wanted to mention that. And just wanted to mention, hey y'all, Tyler Kolek's offense is terrible.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna front. Is his offense is worse than
Hey,
Precious.
Freezy, you and in this league as a guard, you can't just be pass first. You got to leverage some scoring ability. It's the reason why Tyus Jones is gonna go right back into getting another vet minimum.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
But,
Kolek's not ready yet. Anyway, he's not ready.
To me,
He needs to stay in the lab for another year. Stay in the G League. Work, get
even
some
then, when he's
reps,
an older rookie, it's
whatever.
to me even looking at it in the wider scope. I hope he figures it out and plays at a high level, but it's also like your number one player is a small guard, small point guard. You
Yep.
probably were better off just trying to get like a big guard or a big wing at that point.
Delano Banton. I've been
Yeah.
saying it since he was in Toronto, bro.
yeah, he's available. He's gonna be available this summer.
Delano Banton
What,
is the
free
answer.
agent?
Gonna be
Yeah.
a free agent. Yeah.
He's the answer because he's a slick handling 6'7" guard that can defend. He's kind of right now, he's kind of like where DeLon Wright was early on in his development. Kind of like if everything goes right, he can be Drew Holiday-ish. Like nobody's Drew Holiday, right? But I'm talking about like that archetype, like the big guard that can play point and defend. You don't depend on them for any offense, but if they get an offensive mismatch, they can, exploit it.
Yeah, he can bully a smaller guard.
Yeah. And so, but the thing about Tyler Kolek though, y'all, I ain't gonna front. I like TKO. I love TKO. Right. The only thing about him is he just turned 24 in March. And I think he turned 24 in March. And I don't know if our narrative is going to sound crazy. I think our narrative is going to sound crazy when we're talking about a 25-year-old guard needs to develop. You feel me? Like, I feel like it's now or never for Tyler Kolek.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be that way. But
he needs to have a knockdown jumper to have any chance.
Right now. Yep.
Like he needs to come in next year shooting 40%.
From 3, yep, and confident.
Yeah.
Yep. Pulling on sight. Because
he's not gonna get to the paint at will.
No, he's not.
So you need to leverage some offensive ability.
And he needs a floater that's money.
Yeah.
Because he can get to certain places, but he can't shoot from those places that he get to. And so I love Tyler Kolek. And when I saw him today, I was like, dang, he can't even get it up against Brooklyn.
Yeah. It's gonna be 3. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I was gonna say it's gonna be 3 things that's gonna determine his future. And you guys just hit both of them. The little floater game, that consistent 3, and of course, the most important thing, defense. He's got to be able to at least be. We ain't expecting him to be no elite, but at least capable.
You know what? I think
at least a halfway decent defender. He got to be. If he can't do those 3 things, he ain't gonna be in the league long.
You know what, even to that point, I think he's shown more to me that he can be capable defensively than any other thing.
Yeah.
Like he's gotten strips, he's playing passing lanes, he's draw a charge. Like he knows how to be like Johnny on the spot defensively. He's not gonna be a guy that's gonna stop someone outright in the
That's what I
ISO.
mean. Yeah. He's
But
not
he
going to be
plays
no
sound
elite, but
positional
at least be
defense.
capable. Yeah,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least just
yeah.
capable.
Like
Serviceable.
not necessarily in a TJ McConnell scrappy kind of way, but he knows how to play because he knows how offenses run. He
Yeah,
knows where to be to interrupt plays and make things uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's going to determine his longevity in the league, right there.
I I think I'm thinking a lot different than y'all. I think Colic's it's a tough conversation this summer. I'm
Straight
about to have with
candidate.
y'all. Yeah, I'm it's a tough conversation I'm ready to have with y'all this summer.
It
yeah.
wouldn't shock me if we traded him. I'm not gonna
I'm
lie to
ready
you.
to have that conversation too. Now, do I want to keep TKO? Absolutely, absolutely. But if you didn't bring over Rokas Jokovitis for like the same things, why is TKO? Why is TKO here? Right? If Rokas Jokovitis legit is the same player but bigger and stronger
You
and
might as well
younger,
have just went for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also to that point, remember Fritz, they gave him that inflated contract to make him even more easily movable
Yeah.
for salary
I
later
also
on.
I think other people can look at his talent and it's like, okay, I I think I could work with that. I think the attractiveness of what he's shown that makes him a trade candidate. Like his value to someone else may be more than his value to us.
Yeah, because as long as Jalen Brunson is a star of this team, another small guard, you have to be extraordinary to
Yeah.
make an impact.
You talking about so it's three small guards because they're probably going to bring in a veteran. Who knows? They might bring Cameron Payne back. We don't know.
Yeah. I
Right.
think this summer is like honestly, I think they're gonna take they ain't got much money to spend. I
They
think they're
got the
gonna
taxpayers MLE and minimums. That's it.
they not they don't even got that 12 whatever. Like
No,
they probably won't be
taxpayers,
able.
not the regular MLE, the
Yeah,
taxpayers.
they probably ain't gonna use the whole thing. I think they're gonna look at Malcolm Brogdon. And it's like, hey, you want this?
That was my thing in my mind.
It's like
'Cause-
Brogdon, you want this? Like you can have
yeah,
the whole thing if you want.
and and to that point, you better load manage his ass the entire season.
Yep.
That man better not play one back to back. He may. I don't even need him to dream about a back to back because he
I don't
might get
know
hurt in
the
his sleep.
guy I feel you, but that trainer kept OG and Anobi healthy, bro.
True, but we talking about a 4-year old Malcolm.
Yeah. No, I got you. That man's
I,
gonna be
I,
president of the United States one day, Lee. Malcolm Brogdon
I,
legit is gonna be a senator.
Barack
I'm telling you right
Brogdon.
now, I doubt it. I don't think I don't think he's the candidate. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand what he brings as a veteran, but it's that age situation and the health situation. And I understand what you were saying about how our training staff has changed and gotten a lot better, but I don't think that's a sketchy road to go down, and I'm not
I
feeling that one right there.
I overestimated his age. He's 32, not 34.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of options. It ain't like we could go out and say, hey, this is what I want. Like you're gonna have to look at what we're able to get.
And him being one of your
I
bench guards is
I agree. I agree, but do you even think he wants to come this way? Because we chased after him before, and he was like,
So, will we say that Malcolm Brogdon is an upgrade over Campaign and DeLon Wright?
absolutely
Size wise,
when he plays,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Well,
Plays
DeLon Wright
multiple
is six
positions.
five.
Yeah, but he can shoot.
So is
DeLon,
Brogdon.
you don't have to honor DeLon Wright's jumper. You let him shoot. You let DeLon Wright shoot. Brogdon is a sniper, and he's a better ball handler. Like if you like, for instance, if you wanted to play him next to Brunson, you have zero qualms or issues doing that
Yeah.
from a
The
basketball
only
point of
issue
view.
I have with Brogdon is availability because
Yeah,
that's
that's partially
that's it.
basically.
At least DeLon Wright is available.
the
Thank you.
reason why he's even going to be available to us in the first place because his talent level is higher than than what we can actually afford. Is that his health is the issue.
Yeah,
Well,
let
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
a gun's no good if it jams a lot. You understand what I mean?
Hey, Lee, you be talking about pew pews, bro? You trying to get us on the blacklist?
Oh,
Hey,
my bad. Uh, uh, uh,
Bro, if we get, I swear, bro, I promise you, bro, if we get on the blacklist, bro, like, yeah, like certain things YouTube just don't like. Certain things YouTube just
I
don't want us to
apologize
say.
about that part. I
Yeah,
damn,
yeah,
dang. Anyway, like I was saying, a certain object doesn't work. You can't use a sniper's weapon if it jams all the time.
yeah, yeah. The pew pews. Yep,
You
yep.
can't. You can't. You can't. And I'm worried about him getting jammed. He break a toenail and he's done for half the season, and it's like money thrown away.
but even to that point, we talking about somebody that's gonna be your bench guard, like playing 15 minutes. Like he
Well,
was getting hurt when he was getting hurt. He was playing 25, 30 minutes. He's gonna be
Yeah,
backing up
uh,
an All NBA guard.
he got to be taking a pay cut. So
I
he
mean,
can't
No,
be
it
getting
is a
he
huge
can't be
pay cut.
getting what he get.
he is taking a pay cut.
He's taking a big cut. He's getting like 13 million this year.
Yeah, well, see, he can't get that here. If he gonna come to the Knicks, they gonna have to chop that salary up some more.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
That's the whole idea.
But but
To
yeah, Washington been sitting him. Washington been letting the young boys play and have him be the mentor. So he's been sitting.
it's
He's
one of those things you have to try to aim. You got to swing for the fences, basically.
yeah.
Like you understand the issues or the pros and the cons, and the pro at the point that we're at where we can basically only pay dudes vet minimums. You got to
Hey,
swing for that vet minimum to hit.
I'm, I'm gonna throw another name out there. I don't know where he is salary wise or contract at the moment. Marcus Smart.
He's not
We can't.
available yet.
He's. I think he has, does he have another year?
He has one more year.
One
Yeah,
more
no.
year. So he's an
And he's
expired.
making like 20.
He's an expiring deal.
He's making 20. Unless
He's
you're
making
trying to trade Josh Harder or Mitch Robinson for him. No.
Josh, and Mitch and Deuce.
Yeah,
So
and I wouldn't do that. Not for him. I
yeah.
just
So I mean, yeah, it's not gonna work.
I would rather just give money to Malcolm Brogdon than give up something for Marcus Smart.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. So yeah, Marcus Smart really isn't an option.
I'm gonna keep it real, and Fritz knows this. There's like an impending recession in free agency class. Like there's gonna be a lot of guys playing for vet minimums next year that are like on paper better than a vet minimum player, but because of the CBA making things tight, you're gonna see Tyus Jones back out there on the market not making a whole lot of money when he could have made a bag last year betting on himself. There's gonna be a lot of guys out there available. You either swing for the high ceiling or you aim for the campaigns of the world. And to be absolutely honest with you, campaign has given us all the value you can get out of a vet minimum point guard,
Yeah.
and then some. To be
Yeah.
absolutely honest with you, because if you say vet minimum point guard, usually they're absolutely terrible all the time.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's
Yeah. The
only
money.
bad some of the time.
Yeah.
Let me just do this real quick before you guys escape from the Malcolm Brogdon part. So the only way I would even consider Malcolm Brogdon is if Tyler Kolek is gone. I think long term, Tyler Kolek is a better player than Malcolm Brogdon is going forward. Right? If you just look at um career arcs, like do I want 32, 33, 34-year-old Malcolm Brogdon or 25, 26, 27-year-old Tyler Kolek, especially with the passing ability. Now, one of the things that we forget about Malcolm Brogdon, the reason why he's not a full-time starter is not just injuries. Malcolm Brogdon is a Chad Pennington offense operator. And for those that don't know, Malcolm Brogdon is a Danny Cannell offense operator, right? Malcolm Brogdon is basically check down Charlie, basically, right? The reason why teams move Brogdon is because Brogdon is going to cut your basketball court in half, and he's going to operate on that one half of the court. All the backside actions are not going to be seen. He's not even going to try to throw risky passes over there. But in that half of the half court that you have, that offense is going to operate like a well-done machine, right? He's going to come around screens perfectly, right? He's going to keep spacing, he's going to communicate, and all those things. But if you're on the backside of that, you ain't even got to worry about it. You can sit down and smoke a cigarette, right? It's the reason why Indiana traded for Tyrese Halliburton so that you could spread the floor and get passes to more people. Now, remember, with Malcolm Brogdon in Indiana, they were still like a 45 win team, but he didn't have an upside. He was like, if you run, say a certain set, if you run, Dre, what's the triangle play? I forget the name of it, but there's a triangle play with basically you have two guys on the backside, right? You have a guy at the elbow, a guy near the dunker spot, and you have a guard. And basically, what your guard does is run guys in, and I forget what they call it, right? But at the same time,
offense?
huh?
Is it part of the Trident offense?
Yeah, it's not. The Trident to use the whole floor, right? But
you said cutters.
The triangle, the triangle uses half of the floor.
Right. Yeah, right. You want to, the triple post, right? But what I'm saying is in this sense, though, Malcolm Brogdon will take something like that and get you great shots over the course of a 4 to 5 minute stretch. Now, making those shots is not Malcolm Brogdon's fault. His job is to get you great looks, and he'll do that. But what that does is when teams see that, they can defend that. They're like, hey, man, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to bring 4 guys to their 3, right? And Malcolm Brogdon is so disciplined that when it's 4 guys to those 3, he's not going to try to turn the ball. He's not going to turn the ball over by throwing risky passes to the other side to make the defense pay, which stalls your offense. And now you're having dudes taking smothered, contested mid-range jump shots in a half court, and it bogs your offense down. He was that in Milwaukee. He was that in Indiana. He'll be that wherever he goes because that's his archetype. Now, if that's what the Knicks need when Jalen Brunson is out of the game, that's perfect for us.
Yeah.
Right. But can you imagine? Hey, can you imagine half of the half court with Malcolm Brogdon in the game with Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet, and Precious?
That's not going to work. That's not going to work.
No.
It's absolutely not going to work because
that's not going to work.
Because now you're going to have to depend on Malcolm Brogdon to create his own shot.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
And that's and when I say that's why I think we're retooling that bench. I don't think Precious is going to be back. To be absolutely honest with you.
Yeah.
I have that same feeling too that he might not be back.
I think
we don't got no money. We ain't got no money to bring Precious back.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason.
Unless he's trying to pay for a minimum
to bring who back? I'm sorry, Fred.
Precious. There's no money to bring Precious back.
For Precious.
Okay. The only reason, the only hope that Precious has is that the Knicks have a player that they really want to splurge on, and they put him in a sign and trade. That's the only way the Knicks are dealing with him. So
what does this have to do with Malcolm Brogdon, though?
No, because the money that they're gonna have to pay Brogdon, is the money that you basically gonna take away from Precious.
And I was basically, I only mentioned it because it was like an example of a lineup that you put out there. But I think going forward, they're not gonna take on any guys that can't space.
Okay,
I don't think so. Anyway, unless it's just a dominant paint presence, then To me, I don't think they will. And the way you describe Malcolm Brogdon, it's kind of ideal. It's like if you want 25, he's only gonna give you 15.
Yep.
If you want 5 points, he's giving you 15.
Yep. Yep. Basically.
If you need 35, he's giving you 15.
Basically.
He's basically, for all intents and purposes, at this point, the point guard version of Tobias Harris. So
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Get in there, don't screw up.
yeah.
Right. But if we keep it in the stack, if we had him this year, then with this group that we have, then it would have been ideal because we have no sense of what we want to do offensively when Jalen Brunson or Cat is out of the game.
And absolutely. And for even the fact that he's often injury prone, he has a quick trigger.
Yeah.
He's not going to hesitate or think about shooting the ball. If he's behind the arc, he's putting that thing up. And
Right.
sometimes you just need the threat of a guy that's willing to put it up to relieve pressure off of the guys that you have on the court. Bench
Right.
players or starters.
Yeah.
And his skill set to me screams someone that can play as a plug-in and play next to starter caliber players.
Right. I would say this, man. I ain't even gonna front, bro. If we had him this year, I think he would have been the ideal fit to guard Cade Cunningham, Derek White, Drew Holiday, like the big thought type guards, right? And so, of course, guarding
Because you got grown man strength.
Yeah. Like nobody can guard Donovan Mitchell, right? Nobody can. Darius Garland is like the Gotham Strangler. Like we just can't stop him, right? For some reason.
Quick. Yeah, he's quick, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really fast.
Yeah. But to the point of Malcolm Brogdon, the only way that I would consider a Malcolm Brogdon type move is if we just give up on Kolek, and I don't want to give up on Kolek. I think there's something there. It's just he needs to develop some things in order to be an NBA guard. Fritz, he reminds me of this conversation we're having. I remember having the same conversation about a dude named Billy Donovan and a guy named Scott Brooks. We used to call him Scotty Brooks. When they were in camp with us, we were like, bro, they're missing offense, bro. If they had some offense, bro. And I know y'all don't know who Scott Brooks is or Billy Donovan.
Yeah, I remember Scotty Brooks.
Everybody knows Scott Brooks.
Yeah, Scotty Brooks. Yeah, he became a little scrappy guy, man.
Yeah, he was a scrappy little dude.
He was scrappy. That was his MO.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't fast. He didn't have the natural ability. He wasn't big, but he was scrappy. It was for him. His mental was that gave him his fortitude, man.
Right.
They gave him his staying power. It was his mental. His mental made up for his lack of physical skills that he had. He wasn't the greatest shooter. I mean, he can get you a couple of buckets, but
Right. Now Billy Donovan was a bucket.
Yeah. Now Billy Donovan can. Yeah. Now
he was a bucket.
He can get you some points.
Yeah.
Him and remember Scott Skiles. That's the other guy I was thinking about.
Yeah,
too.
little scrappy dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, but Skiles could shoot though.
Out of Michigan State.
It's so funny.
Pass.
It's so funny. I know it's totally not intentional, and I even do it too. But we always compare white point guards to other white point guards.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You could be like he plays like Brevin Knight very easily, but you don't think of Brevin Knight when you think of these small white point guards.
Nah. Or like we could have said, yo, y'all remember TJ Ford? We could have been like, the pass first point guard out of Texas. Yeah, we could have been like, yo, you remember Khalid El-Amin?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's my guy.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's totally not intentional. It's just how it happens.
Yeah. No, I get it. But
I mean, to even that point that you said about Kolek or not missing out, but it's like at a certain point, even if you get the most ideal version of Kolek in a playoff scenario, he ain't playing but 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Because Brunson is who Brunson is. Because you can't play him next to Brunson. So even in that ideal scenario, you're not gonna get the juice out of the squeeze that you want.
Nah,
Yeah.
nope, nope.
And I think he's just in the wrong. He just came at the wrong time. Like we're in championship or bust mode, and you don't have 4 years. You don't got 3 years. That's the
Well,
problem.
I think what may happen. What
Oh no, you can go ahead.
Cash disappeared.
I think he cut out in the middle of this. Take
Go ahead then, man.
Yep, we'll see. I don't know, man.
you cut out. Cash, say that again.
I said he end up maybe being a trade chip going forward because like you were saying, Brunson's going to run the show, and 8 minutes may not. It's not going to be enough for the development that he needs to become an NBA player.
I'd
So
rather
he may have to go somewhere else to get some playing time.
I'd rather give that money that whatever what is he making? 3.5 million,
Yeah,
something
he's
like
only
that.
making like 2 or 3 million. He's not making much.
I'd still rather give that money up to like someone that can fill a niche that we're missing
Yeah, he
in
could
terms of like
give it to
size.
Tyus Jones because that's about all he gonna get. Is a vet
Yeah, yeah.
minimum.
No, Ty's gonna get more than that. Ty's gonna get more than that.
Yeah, he may get more than that now. Yeah,
Nah,
true,
I
true
don't
that.
know, Fritz. That man got benched out of his role. Like he just got
Yeah,
benched this year.
I know, but
Yeah,
I don't think he's gonna be. I think we're gonna offer
He's
to
gonna
him.
be in
Like,
that 6, 7 minutes. He's gonna get that taxpayers MLE for sure.
yeah, yeah, he's gonna get that five,
yeah, he might
six.
get. Yeah,
I
he
think
may
he was
get that
hoping for that
somewhere.
10. He was hoping for that 10, 15, but yeah, he's gonna be in that
He
six,
played
7.
himself out of that because he could have got that last year, but he thought, okay, if I'm starting, I can prove myself to be a starter on a contender, and it
Yeah,
just backfired completely.
yeah, because we definitely offered him contract more than the Suns, and he chose the Suns because he could start. So
And it didn't work out for him. He
nope.
found out quick that he's really just a backup guard.
Yep.
But I mean, just looking at like if you actually pulled Freezy, have you ever pulled up the free agency list?
It don't look good this summer though.
And yeah, it's when we mentioned Malcolm Brogdon, he legit might be like the best option for our particular makeup.
Yeah,
When you have like a small guard that's your best player or one of your best players.
yeah. I think this summer, like the first day of free agency, the money's gonna go in the first day around the league, and then after that, everybody's just trying to get in and not get just the minimum.
Musical chairs.
Yeah,
Because I know the idea of 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 Malcolm Brogdon sounds really bad. I know because of the history and him barely playing games. But if we're just speaking from a basketball standpoint, like what he actually can do, he's probably the ideal out of any of the options that are even out there. You just gotta hope he cares about winning.
yeah,
That's about it. Because the reason why he stayed on Portland and the Wizards, he said explicitly he ain't trying to go nowhere. He don't really care, but he don't really care about winning all that much. So
You heard that? Then
right,
why even
and
waste your breath?
the Blazers literally asked him, "Do you want us to trade you to like a team that's competing?" He's like, I'm good, bro. You could just bench me." Wizards
He's
asked him
comfortable
the
getting a
same thing. He
check
said, "Nah, I'm straight."
because he's comfortable getting a check. That's all he. That's just what it's about.
I mean, but
Pay
at
me.
the same point, they're humans. Like people ain't trying to pick up and leave cross country at a whim. You feel me?
hmm
So I get that aspect. Like he got a family, so like relocating over and over is not for the faint of heart.
Hey, I'm great with him in the Northwest.
You good with him staying over there? He's on the
Hey,
Wizards now.
I'm even happier he's in DC because now he can get his political connections straight.
That's probably why he didn't want to leave.
Hey,
AP
I'm not mad at him.
asks, "You think McBride is going for who?" Fritz, you think McBride is on a trade? Is on the table for a trade?
Who?
I think
Who?
I think I think
McBride.
he okay. What I think with the Knicks is the Knicks are going to try to put another piece in there, and I don't think anybody's going to do anything probably without McBride.
Oh, like Mitch and McBride for something.
Mission McBride. I think it comes down to if Tibbs is here, Tibbs isn't. I think if Tibbs isn't here, I don't think maybe Josh Hart.
I'm not even gonna add. I'm not even
So
gonna
I don't
pile
even
on.
feel like, hey, Tibbs here, Josh is safe.
Tibbs will quit if we got rid of Josh before
Yeah,
firing him.
I think I said Tibbs ain't here. Somebody's gonna look at that salary slot and they're gonna look at what he's worth
That
in the
18
league, and they're
million.
gonna be like, I could use that elsewhere.
He, I think a lot of that is gonna be predicated on what happens in this playoffs with Josh. Like Josh is gonna have to shoot very well to make it worth our while. To be absolutely honest with you,
Wow, even after the career year he had.
he's been playing bad for like the last 2 months, legitimately. But I think part of that is he's overexposed and he's hurt. Like I think his knee is bad, but he doesn't get that benefit of the doubt because he talked about the minutes police. So
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I think for me with Josh, the way I look at it, Tibbs is one of the few coaches who will play him as much as he does.
he's the only coach that would do that.
So I think another coach would come in and it's like 20 million, $20 million. Can I get another like real starter in a
Even
trade?
even then, but as a cost
Yeah.
analysis for a sixth man, he's pretty much in a pretty good area as a sixth man. If he's a
Yeah.
premier sixth man, right?
Yeah. So but I think another coach would come in and is like, hey, I would like another starter. And
Yeah, and I would like to
I don't
either
want it
move
to be
him or
Josh.
put him on a bench.
Yeah.
And to be absolutely
Well, y'all
honest, like
cutthroat.
the league is
It's
cutthroat.
championship. It's championship and bust.
We say cutthroat, man. They
No,
traded Marcus Smart. They traded Marcus Smart after a finals run.
Yeah.
Got him
I
up
think
out of there.
yeah, I think the Knicks are gonna take their swipes early. They're gonna take their swipes early, see who they can get. If not, they're gonna move on to other options.
In terms of trading.
Yeah.
One thing I know, we better be ready. Better be ready for Detroit.
I think for better or worse, no matter what, if Tibbs has time to prepare, Tibbs is like Batman for like first round series. If you give him prep time, he'll be fine. But after that,
I'm
when the level of competition ramps up and
The elite
and the
coaches
tact
come
and
out.
the tacticians
Yeah.
and the chess game begins, then he's kind of like
I
whatever.
think he's outclassed at that point.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
That's why I
It's
was
just
like
wow.
earlier this season, I was like, hey, I'm ready to move on. And I'm like, he got a fatal flaw that we know is gonna expire in the second round.
hey man, Corey. Tibbs has never
I'm
won a
listening.
playoff series when he lost the first game. So just to let you know, he's not the adjusting guy. Just
Okay,
You
Well,
know
okay.
he's gonna go
I
for he's gonna go for Missoula in the he's gonna run across Missoula. Missoula's gonna just go he knows he's gonna do
what the things
he's
that
gonna
he's
switch it
gonna do
up.
to Josh Hart to exploit Josh Hart is gonna be wicked.
Ugh.
if Tibbs does not adjust, we're gonna lose. Simple as that. You have to adjust, man. I mean, you can't. I mean, I'm old school as well, and I understand, but with this new style of NBA, you have to adjust. You have to incorporate
It's a cat and mouse game. That's legitimately what it comes down to. It comes down to how many adjustments you can make to the adjustment.
It doesn't
And
work
some
that
teams
way.
are willing to make as many adjustments as it takes. And we're still trying to evaluate if we can get a 5-out lineup after 82 games. So that when we talk about fatal flaw, that's one of those things. When we talk about like the elite teams in the league, all of those teams have figured out they can play double big or single big or small ball. They've
Well,
all had periods during the season where they've tried all of those things,
like
and we haven't. We haven't
like
tried. We
like
haven't even attempted.
Interesting. That's interesting. That's
It's
interesting.
it's one of those things where Tibbs is so focused in on winning the possession on his terms instead
but
of the terms of what wins in today's game that he can beat up the bad teams, and then you look up and we're 0-10 against the top
against
two
the good
teams in the
teams,
league.
yep.
So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where and they all those teams, they all have versatility. They play in multiple different ways. They're all not afraid to drop a zone. You feel me? Like they're they're
Yeah, you have
all
and
they're
you have to do that. I've even seen Spolstra use a zone just to throw a
Spoelstra was
team
like the
off.
Don. Spoelstra was
Yeah,
one of the first modern coaches
yeah.
to just routinely go to a zone.
I mean Popovich. I mean, and I'm talking about, one of the. These are some of the few coaches that have been in the league for at least Spolstra and Pop. What, at least 20 years, if not more than that.
It's
They see what's going on, and they've used the zone. So why can't Thibodeau do it, man?
it's
I mean,
some of
not
it.
to stay in it the whole game,
No, no,
of
no, no.
course,
Just to
but
throw it
just to
out to
throw them
junk up the
off, man, just
game.
to give a different look, man.
Sometimes you got
You
to
got to
junk the
try
game up.
something. You got to try something. But Detroit going to come in here and try and punk us, man. And
They don't got
if
the
they ain't up
requisite
for the
talent, man.
challenge, then that's just
They don't have the talent, Cash. Like if we were to do a draft of like the best players in the series between teams, some people are like, okay, that's better than Brunson. He's not better than Brunson. But even if he was, right? You take K number one, you would take a Knicks player the next four players between the two teams. That's how big of a gap in terms of talent there is right this second. So
Yeah,
to me, it's like we should have no issues dispatching them.
yeah,
The regular season is the regular season. Postseason games are played completely differently. You're not catching us on a third game and fourth nights. You're not catching us missing one of our best players. It's mano a mano at a certain point, and we
yeah,
Or
already
back to
know.
back.
Yeah, like ain't
yeah,
none of that, and
yeah. I
we
think
already
that
know
whole
Tibbs can handle JB. So
Cunningham
Hey, who clicking something,
conversation.
man? Somebody clicking something?
somebody chopping up some food, man.
Or something. Or picking their teeth or something.
I'm good.
Anything, bro?
No,
Good, bro?
I just
What you said? Go ahead, Fitz.
no. I just thought the whole Cade conversation this week was kind of ridiculous. Like Brunson legit has been like balling the last three playoffs. Like he averaging like 35. Like
He
he's
put up
legit been like arguably the best player in the playoffs the last 3 years.
he put up
And
Jordan
then
numbers.
and then
Facts.
Cade
Y'all
before the
killing me.
season.
Y'all killing me, bro. So scoring means best is what I'm hearing.
No, but I'm just saying he's dominated the last 3 years. And Cade
Dominate. So
before
so
this
score, but scoring means dominate.
Well, it's the
is one
most
aspect.
important statistic in the game, Freezy.
Yeah, one aspect of it.
Nah,
Yeah,
I ain't going. I think that's maybe opinion based.
I mean, it is opinion based, but at a certain extent,
he
if
hasn't been
one guy is getting
hasn't
40
been
on 50% shooting, while with no help, as
so he hasn't been one of the most dominant players in the playoffs in the last 3 years. Dallas in the 2 years with us.
he was giving Spoelstra nightmares by himself.
The last 3 years, he's been one of the top
One of the best playoff
top
performers. We don't
three,
even got to say
top
dominate.
three,
Just yeah,
top three, top
just one
three.
of the best
Listen,
playoff performers.
in the last 3 years, and then Cade before this season, they weren't even sure if he could be the main guy.
They
They
were
weren't even
confused
sure
if
if they
he.
wanted. People weren't even
Yep.
sure if they wanted to give him max.
Yeah.
You know how they
Mm,
waited to give him a max contract?
Yep.
bro,
I actually
let
do.
me. So let me. I'm gonna just ask y'all to relax for a moment. I mean, because I think we getting like beside ourselves. We comparing Jalen Brunson to Cade.
Yes,
Y'all know Cade was the number one pick in the draft in a loaded draft, right? Do y'all know what Jalen Brunson was doing at Cade's age?
Winning national championships.
Nah, he was the 11th person on the Dallas Mavericks roster.
No, well, how old is K? 20.
23.
Oh, he's
23.
23. Oh, not 21.
Okay,
23. Right. I think we gotta relax, bro.
I'm
I
saying,
mean,
I
but when
know, but
K was winning, when
other
K was
teams,
winning,
bro, no lie. Other teams are allowed to have talent too.
I know, but we're talking about right now. We're not talking about going forward.
future.
Cade
I
may be the
think I
best player
think
in the league.
Cade in the future is going to be a top 5 NBA player. Period.
Bro, the man legit averaged more points per game than Brunson, right? The dude averaged more assists per game than Brunson, and he's doing it with less talent, and y'all know that.
Yeah,
Y'all know Cade has a. That's the reason why we think we're gonna wash the Pistons up like a shirt. We're gonna pack them up and
I
real
didn't.
quick and get ready for the Celtics. That's why we.
No, I
That's
didn't. I
why
didn't say that.
we.
But
No. But the thing is, the thing with Brunson compared to other NBA players, Brunson is great. Yes, absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Brunson is great. In my opinion, Brunson is great. Right. But for us to just assume that we have Brunson and they don't is like wow OD to me. I don't understand it.
You're.
okay, no, no,
I'll
just
answer it this way. You're about to
okay.
see Cade in a scenario that Brunson was in last year, basically, in terms of if we can argue about how the talent got to the way it was because of injuries, but at a certain point, the talent is the talent, and we weren't playing with like the greatest depth at that point, or great talent. It was like, bro, Brunson, please save us, and he kind of like did every single game. And you're gonna see a lot of Cade save us, and Cade is gonna probably drop 30 a couple times in the series, but he ain't gonna
Cade,
average 40 over a 4 game span.
Cade is
With
gonna
the entire
Cade is
defense focused in on him.
yeah. The Cade is the head of the snake for Detroit, and he has to be controlled. You ain't gonna stop him, but he has to be controlled.
Oh, you cut out Cash, but I agree. I agree 100%. And at some point, bro, at some point, Cade is gonna do what he needs to do, and you're just nothing you're gonna do to stop him. But also, this is the part of the reason why I feel like it's gonna be an important Mitch series. Cade is the worst shooter in terms of inside 10 feet or at the rim for any guy that has taken 500 shots in the paint this season. And he struggles with additional help defense. When you keep showing him bodies in single coverage, he's going to tee off on that, but he can't beat the help defender or a real rim protector. So it's going to be very important to see if Mitch can play like 28 minutes a game where there's no back-to-backs. Because
Yeah.
if you can take away his rim game, like Cade getting to the rim, scoring on these smaller players in 1-on-1, then they're kind of screwed in terms of how they're going to generate consistent offense.
So also when I judge it, I'm throwing out the regular season with Brunson because the same way that you look at Jimmy and you can look at Jimmy's numbers for the season and be like, oh, 16 points a game. There's a playoff Jimmy and there's a regular Jimmy. And
Right,
then
right.
what we've seen with Brunson, there's a regular season Brunson and then a playoff Brunson.
He can
And
elevate.
playoff Brunson is a much for playoff ball. He has shown like he is he is what you want in the playoffs. Cade, this is his first rodeo, and if I can't
Yeah,
assume
he's
that
gonna be
Cade's gonna
nervous.
elevate.
He's gonna be nervous.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
When he get
assume
tight, he
that he
gonna
can take
tight. He
that.
gonna tighten up because ain't nobody gonna play that free. Not for the first time. Everybody
because
gonna have a moment.
we can make this assertion with like a guy like James Harden was a top 3 pick, and we all thought like we would take prime James Harden over Brunson, but in a playoff scenario, he's always falling short. Always, no matter if he's had help or had talent or he's been the main guy, you can't just make the assertion he has that gene for the moments. Like some guys have it and some guys don't.
You know what's
There.
a
Go
you
ahead.
know what's a part of that gene though? I would say
Yeah,
it's the mental. And
yeah.
James Harden doesn't have that. Talent only takes you but so far. But then there's a mental component in that takes you over it for
And
what
I
you for.
will say, I think Cade has some of that mental aspect to him because when they were losing 28 games in a row, he didn't break once. He ain't fold, he ain't cry, he ain't pout, he ain't bitch, he ain't moan, he didn't do none of that stuff. He just tied his shoes up tighter and went right back to work. He ain't fold. And a lot of players would have folded mentally, or a lot of guys would have asked out of a scenario like that.
True, true, true that.
Uh,
But
can I-
you gotta lose to win, and I mean, Cade, yeah, going forward, I mean, you're right. Cade is going to be probably a top 5 player, but for right now, he ain't there yet.
He got to show me.
Yeah, he ain't there yet. This is where you got to prove yourself.
I want to say this. That means that we have to come in disciplined and prepared, and also too, the one thing Jalen Brunson has to do, which is most important part, is make his teammates better in these moments.
Oh,
Because he
Agreed.
cannot.
I so agree with that.
Agreed. Yep.
I would
And,
say I was
and
if I had to speak directly to Jalen, I say you got it's the table's big enough for everybody to eat, man. Let everybody get theirs. You pick your spots and get yours. I mean, when we need it, we know what you're gonna do. You can go to work, but you got to get everybody involved.
Yeah,
He's
because
got to
this
because
get everybody involved, man.
this series he doesn't need to
we
get
will not
40.
listen.
Or if not,
Listen,
we're not gonna win. I'm just
we're not
gonna
going to win the
keep it.
series.
No,
Hold on a
no,
second.
we're not. We're not going to win
Let
any
me
series.
finish my take, bro.
Go ahead.
Please. What I'm getting that not just that, but also because we need every player. If it's 8, we need every single one of those 8 players out there to contribute something. And when it comes to crunch time, then if we gotta, rely on him, we can't overload it though. We can't constantly put it on him. And we don't. And to be real with you, think when Jordan was scoring them 40 points back to back in them 4 games, they didn't win no titles. So
You
we,
need
like
talent.
Freezy said, we gotta kind of relax off that. That was sure will, and this man is going in there just off injury. So let's not be, I'm not saying over. Let's not be over excited or go in with assumptions because last year is last year. We talking about this season, and what we need for him to do is to make this teammates better. We need Isaiah Thomas. We don't need Dame Lillard. When we need Dame Lillard, he can jump into that mode at that particular time, but not going into the series because that's the way we're gonna totally dominate and pack them up and get them out about the way because they coming in hungry now and they
He
got a
don't
point to prove.
he don't need to get 40 every game in
No,
this series. He don't
no,
need
he
to.
doesn't.
If he does, that means a lot of shit went wrong, or a lot of players are
Exactly.
just playing terribly.
Dre, you trying to get us on a blacklist, bro?
Oh, my bad, Freezy.
Dre trying to get it, bro. I'm saying y'all trying to get us back to baby jail, bro.
My brain, just
Nah,
my
man.
bad, Freezy. It's getting late, man.
Me and Lee went through the same thing. It was me, and then Lee came through, and it was the same thing. So we just trying to get used to it. So
Yeah, my bad,
yeah,
my fault.
it ain't nothing. It was me too, trying, man, messing up. But what
For the
I would say,
subscribers, please like and subscribe. Please,
man,
please. We need this.
please,
If you're new, baby,
please.
please.
We just trying to get it. We'd love to get to 10,000 by December, by the end of the
Before
year.
December. We're
Yeah,
trying to get it to the summer.
yeah.
So tell a friend, we can get it.
Please, 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 like James Brown.
Yep.
Not even James Brown. I'm going to the blues. I live in the South now, so I got a lot of homies who play the blues, and I'll be sitting there looking at them like, oh my God.
Bro, how you listen to that over and over? But let me say this about Cade, because I think what I heard from y'all is the same thing y'all said about Cade, but it had a tinge of favoritism to it, right? So the thing is what I'm hearing is that Jalen Brunson can carry the team in the playoffs, and then at the same time, I heard that Cade Cunningham is carrying his team, and he might have to do it in the playoffs. That's what I think I'm hearing. Chat, is that the same thing y'all hearing? Like Jalen Brunson can become superior in the playoffs and carry a team.
But carrying in the regular season ain't carrying in the playoffs.
Right.
Yep. Jalen Brunson's a proven commodity. And Cade, in theory, he can do it, but doing it in real life,
we don't know yet.
Yeah.
But for all we know, he could come into the Garden, drop 45 on us, and we lose. So,
or on Detroit, or as a Knicks fan, you can realize that Detroit has unlocked a thing against the Knicks, and we hadn't solved it, and it's going to take us solving this thing in order to beat Detroit. Now, do I think we do it? Yeah, I think it's going to be a sweep. I don't think they're going to win a game, right? But ever since that game in November, when we tried to out-tough Detroit, and Detroit showed that they were tougher than us, ever since then, Detroit confidence been through the roof, bro. Detroit has beat us 3 straight, right? Detroit has beat us 3 straight, and one of those games, it looked like they had the Timmy on us, right? As a matter of fact, I think Beef Stew might have knocked Jalen Brunson on the floor in the last game we played, and no Nick was over there to dive in Beef Stew chest.
it was
And that man stood over Brunson like,
Dennis
this
Schroeder.
is why I'm here.
Am I muted? Hold on. I'm not muted. It's Dennis Schroeder that did it. Remember?
Yeah, Dennis Schroeder is the one. Yeah,
And
Dennis Schroeder
PJ Tucker knocked him over
in
that same game after that, if you don't recall.
Yeah. I think this is Yeah, that's right. I think there's a thing, man. Detroit is tough. I think we have more skill than them, and I think we're gonna beat them by skill. I think Cat shooting the 3, OG to the lane, Jalen Brunson in the post, in the mid post, is gonna be too much for them to handle. But man, just remember that Detroit starters is not gonna have any short dudes out there from the rip. Jalen Brunson's gonna be facing 6'7" athletes from go. Right? From the rip, he's gonna be facing that. Now, do I think we're gonna watch Detroit? We're gonna pack Detroit up? Yeah, we'll see Detroit next year, right? But at the same time, man, to assume Brunson is just gonna be like, man,
Superman.
Brunson's team is loaded, bro. Brunson's team is loaded.
It's loaded, Freezy, but if you keep putting out the lineups that don't make no damn sense, you're not gonna get, like, for instance, the last game I think we played against them, not even against them, but against the the Cavs.
Right.
Brunson couldn't get to any of his sweet spots. He had to settle for step back jumpers and long twos because we had Josh out there.
Right.
At a certain point, like I said this before to you, like, if you look at the Celtics or OKC or the Cavs, they're not gonna let their superstar player be out there being hindered by a 6'4" guard that can't shoot in the clutch. Like
Yeah.
they're literally never going to allow that to happen. And Tibbs will idle and just let it happen and let teams load up the paint and pack the paint and dare Brunson to take tough contested shots. You notice in the last 3 or 4 clutch games, Brunson could literally only take step back threes and long twos because everything else was locked up in the paint where he would much rather prefer to be. But remember, he's still what 6'1" at best. So when you're not playing to your player's strengths, you're putting them
Okay.
at a detriment. Like for instance, Josh Hart, it can play the first. Josh Hart can play all the minutes in the game. If it's a tight game coming down the stretch and I need a bucket, I can't have him out on the court if he's trying to hinder. If he literally can hinder Carl Towns or Brunson. Like he's trying to hinder if he's hindering our offensive hubs and we try to score, that's a that's a problem that you have to micromanage. And Tibbs will go down with the ship with that. And sometimes it pays off in terms of like when we play the Sixers, where Josh Hart hit three threes with like 4 minutes to go, cut tough contested threes, and then sometimes it'll run out of gas like against the Pacers, and they just like completely shut off one part of the court for your star players, and it makes it hard. Like you gotta be able to roll with the punches and adjust with the adjustments that other teams make. And I don't know if Tibbs is gonna lean into that to allow us to see the best version of Jalen Brunson, particularly in the clutch.
Mm. What I'm gonna say is, I have no doubt that our um our 5-man punch is too much for Detroit, right? I think but the only thing is, our 5-man punch has got to be together. We got to be a fist, man. We can't be the hand, bro. We gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like they can't guard Cat, they can't guard Brunson. I don't think they can guard OG and Anobi, right? I don't think Tobias Harris, Ron Holland, Asar Thompson, Tim Hardaway, none of them dudes can guard OG because even though OG is 6'7", OG is a 6'7" athletic freak that's strong and determined, right? And so I don't think Detroit stands a chance because in the grand scheme of things, OG and Anobi is just a little bit smaller than Isaiah Stewart. He's just a little bit smaller than Isaiah Stewart with all the athleticism and skill and talent, right?
I don't think they
It's
can guard them at all, Freezy. I agree with you, but it makes it a little bit easier to guard you when they're all standing still, and you got Josh in the corner, and then they can just load up the paint and run you off the 3-point line.
Yeah, no, I get you. I know you're talking about scheme, right? I get it. What I'm saying is though I don't think Detroit like I think Detroit has the talent, but I don't think Detroit is ready. Not yet, right? I think their most dynamic player to do that would have gave us absolute fits is out for the season. I forget his name. Oh jeez. The
Jaden Ivey.
Ivy kid. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The
Actually,
athlete.
he may
Jaden Ivey.
be.
Jay Nabi.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. With him out, I think that creates a thing. I think the one thing they do that has been our Achilles heel is they've been able to find a way to relocate Malik Beasley. And I don't know if Malik Beasley finished the season leading the NBA in threes
Finished
or
second.
if he finished it, bro. There and if Malik Beasley finished second in the NBA in threes, and we don't think that he's going to come into that series looking to shoot the three, I think that's where we're going to be in trouble.
I think we. I don't know if remember we was watching that last game. He didn't make a three against us in that last game because we was running him off the line. Even Landry Shamet was doing it.
Yeah.
Like we were pretty effective of taking away his actions. We just couldn't stop the paint touches, and we couldn't stop Cade, and that's partially to do with three of our toughest guys physically. Like literally strength wise, we couldn't hand hope they didn't play. OG didn't play, Josh didn't play, Mitch didn't play. And that's why they dominated us in the paint. Because they couldn't actually shoot that game. They just dominated us in the paint because we were pretty light in the ass in the paint, just to be absolutely honest. We were pretty light.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's something that they can resort to
Yeah. But
going
on,
forward.
I feel you. I feel you, right? But on January 13th, Malik Beasley went 6 for 8 from three against us.
And they barely won. And I think Brunson didn't play that night.
Yeah. Yeah.
They needed every last one of them just to scoop that out.
No,
And Brunson didn't play.
Brunson played. As a matter of fact, Brunson had a killer game.
What was the one before that then?
Yeah. It was either way. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what I'm saying. That was just semantics.
Yeah. Got you. I understand 100%.
I get that. Um, I'm just checking the December 7th game. Where is it? The December 7th game, I think we had the lead and we gave it away to them. I think we had no, they didn't. No, we didn't. They kind of just stuck it to us. Right? Because they came out the gate, blew us out from the rip, and then we chipped away, and then they pulled away from us.
They got mad. We blew them out the first game.
Yeah, but even in that game, Malik Beasley was 7 of 10 from three for 23 points.
Yeah, our 3-point defense was even worse than.
And granted, I'm not. This is not like the Malik Beasley show. I'm just saying this so that we can be aware. We got to be aware of
him and Tim Hardaway.
Yeah. We gotta. Yeah, we have to be aware of these things because just to say, I'm saying that we're going to sweep Detroit, and I'm saying that in 4 tough games. I'm not saying we're going to sweep Detroit and it's going to be our coronation. We're going to be waiting on the Celtics. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Detroit's a tough team. And if Cade shows up in this series, and even if they don't win, but if he shows up, he's the future of NBA basketball in this series. Just by his progression over 4 years. Remember, Cade Cunningham was the number 1 pick in the Quentin Grimes draft. Right? All those dudes that got drafted ahead of Cade, they burst out the box and they looked like they were going to Franz Wagner, Jonathan Kuminga, Scotty Barnes, and a whole bunch of dudes bust out of that draft and they looked like they were going to be a superior player than Cade. And then now that you look at it 4 years later, would you redo that draft? I wouldn't. If I'm Detroit, I'm still taking Cade. Right? That's the Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, all those dudes out of that draft. Quentin Grimes, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Deuce McBride, Rokas Jokibitis, all those dudes coming. Trey Mann, Kai Jones, all those dudes came out of that draft. And if you do that redraft over, I'm still taking Cade number 1, not because of how he started his career, but how he lifted a franchise. Because like some of the dudes you look at on that roster, you like, bro, why they gave Tobias Harris all that money? Right? You like, why? Why is Tim Hardaway Jr. there? But now you know, especially after the way Tobias looked last year.
To compliment his game.
Yeah.
Did assault around the margarita glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can't. I was gonna say something real quick. So we can't go in there. Like I said, arrogant. We got to go in there prepared and professional,
Yeah.
and go and handle our business and do not play with our food because we've seen what happens when we do stuff like that. The example is Philly. We should have washed them up quick last year.
Mm-hmm.
We
and
should
we
have watched up
didn't.
Indiana too.
Exactly, and that's what hurt us.
Yep.
We
Yep.
played around, played around, played around, and we weren't in the position, nor did we have the bodies to mess around like we did.
I'm gonna ask Fritz. Fritz, you think this team has the killer instinct to knock a good playoff team out of the playoffs?
Us
Yeah,
or them?
us. I don't care. I don't care nothing about them.
Um, the talent's there. The talent's there.
That doesn't mean anything. A lot of teams are talented at this
No,
point.
I think the talent's there, and I think, yeah, it's going to come down to, can we adjust? Are we losing leads in the third quarter like we've been lately? Like, that can't happen. That can't happen.
That was happening,
Because
but
we've
bro,
been
that was
building
happening.
leads. We've been building leads. I know a lot of people say we ain't been doing good, but we've been building leads in all these games, and we've been letting these leads slip. Can't stop the bleeding. I just, yeah, stuff like that can't happen. Can't happen.
Okay. All right.
Now, when you said the talent is there, I'm not even looking at talent. It's the playoffs. Everybody's equal to me. I'm looking at, do you have that killer instinct to put them away when you know they're on the ropes? It's like you knock them down, so their legs are still wobbly. Are you going to clean them up right there and put them to sleep so that way you can go sit down and party for the rest of the night and still have a pretty face?
No, I don't think a 25-point lead is. I don't think a 15-point lead is safe in the third quarter.
Not with us because we have, at the beginning of the year, that was our issue. We couldn't get stops. And if we weren't
No, but
blowing them
like,
out by 30, what
but
I'm
I
trying to
think where the
what I'm
Knicks
trying to
need to
convey,
be,
we
where
need
the
to be
Knicks need to
hungry.
be is where we need to be, where a 15-point lead should be the end of the game. And I don't think we're there yet.
It used to be.
It used to be.
Yeah, like a long streak, but now
Yeah,
teams have
but
adjusted.
that's a whole different team, and that was a whole different mindset. And we were fighting. We were much more grittier and meaner and nastier of a team at that time. That's not this team no more.
Because we're getting 15-point, we're getting like 15-point leads every game. Like 13, 15. Like, the Knicks should be able to just hold that. If you ever get down to like 7, okay, we need to turn it back on. Like, the
I think I think
Knicks are,
I think partially some of that had to do with like Brunson. Brunson missed a lot of those games that we blew, and he
Mhm.
usually controls the pace of a game. If we need to get a bucket or get a momentum shot, he usually comes through in that scenario. And recently, like most of the leads that we blown against contenders, Brunson wasn't even playing.
But still, though, that's a major fact that you just brought up. But even with the talent that we have right now, that's like they don't respect what's in front of them.
But
And
even
Freezy just said, but Freezy just that because that's right because we are missing that. I'm gonna put them away. I'm done for the night. Let's go home. I want to see
yeah,
my
but
wife and
you need that
kids.
from you need that from your coach as well. Because you can put out lineups. You literally seeing a lineup struggle and you just stick with it. That's an issue as well. Like you're seeing for extended minutes, for extended parts of the season, a particular lineup is struggling with a particular style of defense, and you stick with it. That's on coaching. Like you got to
That's a weak.
sometimes you got to do a favor to your players, bro.
Yeah, but to some degree, that's a weak ass excuse, bro.
It's
Real
just real
talk,
life,
bro.
bro. But at some point though, Corey, even if it's a weak excuse, Josh Hart playing harder is not going to make teams guard him from three.
But
Like
you can't just. But it's not just Josh Hart out there either.
it ain't Josh Hart, but it's one of those things where he, I shouldn't even be making it a Josh Hart thing. It's a Tibbs symptom
Yeah,
where
because
it's
that's
like,
low hanging
yo,
fruit.
yeah, it's not even like we already know what Josh Hart is. He's going to be an extremely effective player for 28 to 30 minutes. After that, he gets overexposed. That's a coaching thing, not a Josh Hart thing or a player thing. To me, anyway. Like if you're seeing a particular lineup struggle over and over with the same scheme, and your best bet is to get like tough shots to bail you out from Jalen Brunson, that's a schematic problem. That's not the players. The players are only going to
No,
run
no,
what you allow them to.
wow, wow, you letting them off the hook, man. Because there's other, you just mentioned Josh Hart. You just mentioned the coach.
And I mentioned McCall not being aggressive as well earlier.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I missed that part, so I can't comment on that
All right.
part. But we do need him is to be effective and aggressive, but also too like Freezy said, because I guess I came into the conversation about how you talking about Lindsey Shaman and Josh doing the moronic things that they shouldn't do, and that's the coach's fault, but also that's the player's fault because at this level and at this level of the game, these cats have shit, and especially being in the game for as long. Josh Hart is 30 years old. He should have a master's degree in basketball, and,
It ain't
and,
gonna
and
make him shoot better though.
I understand that. So that not every professor knows every word in the dictionary either.
But even then, even if he's shooting better, here's my point. Even if he is shooting better, he could be shooting 80% from three, right? Core at points. That's not gonna stop teams from guarding him like he's not an NBA player or ignoring him. Like I'll frame it like this. I said it earlier. There's 90 possessions in the NBA game, right? If Josh Hart decides to take a three and five of them and he makes four threes, there's still 85 other possessions where they're making it harder on Brunson and Cat and all these other guys because they're not guarding him. And at that point, you're overexposing Josh Hart by playing him all these minutes. That's on coaching.
And
Yeah, but
that's
this
on
is
the
the
point.
thing
No,
that
no, 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 no. But that's on Jalen Brunson because he has to make shots easier for the other players.
No, Corey. How can he make shots easier for the other players if it's 5-on-4?
Hold on a
Literally,
second.
he
well
can't
the
get
thing
into the lane.
the,
He can't
That,
dribble
that,
the
and
that's it.
thing
penetrate.
That's him dribbling the air out the basketball
yeah
in a lot of
the thing
possessions.
the
Brother,
thing
I'm
with
telling
Josh
you,
Hart is Josh Hart is not a threat. I mean, we've seen that how defense kind
they
of
overshift
yeah,
to
kind
Brunson.
of play us that he's not a threat. Whereas if Deuce McBride was in that spot, Deuce McBride is a threat because he's a decent 3-point shooter. So the thing is like, do you want you know would Deuce be a better fit? I mean, possible. I
Not
mean,
even to start.
that's been the topic for conversation
Not
probably
even to
for a
start.
good for a good part of the season.
Cash. Like I don't even want to start Deuce. That's not even my whole thing.
Yeah, but
To
but
me,
my
it's like when you closing out teams, you need to go with what's working against a particular scheme. And if they're guarding you a particular way, and the objective is to outscore the other team, then you got to pivot. Like for instance, Corey, you saying like he dribbling in the air at the ball. You don't think Brunson wants to take three dribbles and get to his floater immediately? He can literally can't do that because the defense is shifted and they shrinking the court because Josh is
yeah,
on the court.
but
So
my
he has
thing,
to take 20 dribbles to try to find a spot to probe around and get something because he can't get directly to his move.
yeah, but my the thing that I've noticed that I don't know how they're going to fuse the two. I've seen some of OG that we ain't never seen. And I don't think it can be I mean, I think it can be unlocked with Brunson on the court, but I think Brunson is going to have to,
Initiated.
OG is going to have to be given room so he can go to work, especially if he has a mismatch or matter of fact, not even a mismatch, but he's got to be able to cook. He's been aggressive, man. Feed
He
him,
had
man. That's why I'm
in the
saying there's
last
enough
game.
people to eat.
In
Like
the last
Brunson take 4 or 5 dribbles. If you ain't got nothing going, give it up. Keep the
in the
ball,
last two
keep the
games,
ball moving. And
Cash.
to me, that's the biggest problem.
I was gonna say Cash. In the last two games, OG against the Celtics, he struggled to shoot and he struggled against the Cavs, and he got enough attempts up. The problem is when OG is like driving to the rim, he can beat one guy. He can't beat two guys because he's just not that level of he doesn't have that level of dexterity. He doesn't have the tightest handle. So when his three's not hitting and he's trying to drive to the paint, he can kill one guy off the dribble. But it's when that help comes over, and usually when that help comes over, it's usually Josh's man, and as Josh's man is being guarded by a 7-footer that's clogging up the paint. That's part of
Okay,
the reason he
true
struggles.
that, because when I watched
But
that
that's
Boston game, I seen Pritchard end up switching onto OG. I know you guys have seen that too, and I'm like, OG should take this boy,
And he
but
takes him, and then the
and
help comes.
but OG did, but then OG's got to give it up.
Yeah, the help comes, and then OG got to move rock again. And
Yeah.
he's not a great passer or a dribbler like to
No,
that
he's not a
extent.
great passer, but he can pass out of that situation. It sounds like to me, man, that I mean,
it's timing.
you
It's
may not want
timing.
to start Deuce, you may
Is
not
it?
want to
It's
start
the
Deuce, but you got to have a threat out there, man. It's got to be a
no. It's
threat.
you gotta You gotta get into the initiation part quicker.
I agree with that,
With,
Corey. I agree with that.
we gotta we got to get it once that ball gets over that half court line, and it should be, was it 24 seconds, correct? So we gotta get over there in 3 seconds versus
We
waiting to
walk the
get over there
ball
in
up.
five.
We walk the ball
Exactly.
up too much,
Ex-
and that's hurt Brunson.
exactly.
We walk the we
Ex-
when you see the Cavs,
Exactly.
when you see the Cavs and the Celtics, they getting that ball up past half court
They
immediately.
pushing it. And
But
that's the
I
plus
think
part.
some of that,
That's the
Corey.
plus part of Josh Hart too, though.
Well,
Think about it. When he gets the
some of
ball,
that I would probably have to say is scheme, man.
I think a part of that
nah.
too. A part of that too, Corey. When you know everyone is playing 38 minutes that night, sometimes you ain't got the juice in the tank to push every single time. Whereas opposed to other teams playing their guys 32, 33 minutes in that range, they have that little extra juice because they coming out a little bit earlier in the quarter and they getting the bench. Then they come back into the game
Well,
a
then
little bit fresher.
that's on the coach, man, in terms of making sure the guys is rested
Ah.
so that they could be in be ready when it's money time. That's on the coach. Well,
Mm.
bottom line is, man, if
Everybody
they don't
got to carry their
perform,
weight.
Hey, did y'all see the
so
game today? Did
a
y'all see the
coaching
game
thing.
today though? Y'all see the game today against Brooklyn?
Yeah,
Y'all
I
saw
saw the
how
first
y'all saw
half
what
and then
the
I came home and saw the second half.
now
Yes, yes, I did.
did y'all see how the spacing looked today against Brooklyn? How it looked different?
Kind of, sort of. Like number one, they started leaning in on volume from three. Like they knew particularly with their skill set that they're only gonna get threes off. So they started running curls and pin downs for threes, and Deuce started putting up contested threes. Yeah, I understand that 100%.
But did
It
you
was
did see how
a lot
but
of the
you did
time
see
it
how
was
the
just
spacing looked
Precious.
though.
A lot of the time it was just Precious in the paint by himself with three shooters spaced out. Well,
Right.
four shooters that is.
Hey, Tori B, what's good? Welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you. What's good?
Nothing much. I can't stay long. I just have a
How you
question.
doing, Queen?
Hello, Corey. I have a question because there's a lot of Josh Hart slander going on, and we will not have that. What do y'all? What exact? I get that he is his defender is always going to drift off because they don't respect the shot. But if you pulling him off the court, who you putting out there? Because you lose too much when he's on the bench.
Well,
So
it
let me,
depends on the scenario, who's guarding you, and
yeah, and
who's
so
on
my
the other
question
team.
Matchups. It's about matchups.
yeah, and my question is why are we pulling Josh off the court? That would be my first question. Like my question would be, or my statement would be, keep Josh on the court, but use him differently. Because Josh Hart has skills that are valuable NBA skills, like his
Right.
rebound and get into transition the other way, speeds us up, gets us easy points, and at a minimum drains the defense because they have to sprint back and set up in transition, where that seems like a small thing when you just look at it on the surface. But you know, if you played high school or whatever, you know, sprinting down back and forth wears out a defense more so than the physical muscle part of it. What I would say is Josh Hart do something different offensively,
Then
right?
let him.
When,
Then
when
let
we
him be the
wait,
screener.
hold the cash. Hold on, let me finish my
All
answer.
right. All right.
Hold
Sorry,
on.
man. Sorry,
Hold
man.
on.
Sorry.
The thing is, when we depend on Josh to be something he's not, that's when our offense tends to sputter. When he's something he's not, right? My thing has been since last year. Every time we spot up Josh Hart on the perimeter and then expect him to be a knockdown 3-point shooter, when in his heart he really doesn't want to do it, it's times that we're shooting ourselves in the foot. My thing with Josh is a decent finisher around the rim, and he pretty tough for pound, he a pretty tough guy, right? My thing with Josh is when that ball is moving, I think Josh should be more flashing to the rim, right? And in that way, what happens is it keeps that big. Yeah, y'all know how when we play other teams, they'll put their biggest man on Josh, and then that man sags into the paint to double Cat or whoever is looking to operate down there. My thing is make that big man work. The advantage Josh Hart has over a big is agility and dexterity. When the big got in Josh Hart, all he has to do is stay zoned up and conserve energy. They won even if we make the shot, right? Because their big doesn't have to do anything. The one thing we talk about all the time, the one thing people say about Cat and whoever, like in the pick and roll, Cat is not knowing what to do because you get a 7-footer moving his feet. That's why teams can take advantage of Cat. But when with Josh Hart being guarded by a 7-footer or whoever, we don't get that person to move their feet and do whatever. And that's where our disadvantage is. It's not just because Josh Hart won't shoot. It's because we don't use Josh, and to another extent, we don't use Mitchell Robinson in the screen game either. And so I'm not saying throw Josh
Facts.
Hart away. I'm not saying throw Josh Hart away. I'm saying that we have to use him different. Is my perspective. Now, everybody here is going to have their own perspective, and I'm open to hearing it. But for me, right, I think you always have to play to the strengths of your players, regardless of what guys are on the floor. Now, I know we don't often get a chance to talk about that because we talk about other strategic things, and it comes back to Josh Hart. But if we make Josh Hart the focal point of this, then I think we could point out stuff like we know Josh can finish at the rim. We see Josh finish amongst the trees a lot. We see Josh go to the free throw line a lot. We see Josh is not intimidated by contact. There's a lot of things, but Tori B, do we play to that? How often do you see us take advantage of that in the half court?
We don't take advantage of it enough.
I don't understand what that means.
I need to explain that.
Yeah.
No, I just don't. Those are things Josh do on his own. I don't think the coach takes advantage of that enough. Is that a better
Okay.
answer for you?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's what
Okay.
I mean. I don't think Tibbs takes advantage of that enough.
Okay. So we don't scheme that, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. That's just my thing on. I know Josh is an unwilling shooter, right? I know that, right? But Josh is 30. You're not going to turn Josh into Ray Allen right now, right? But Josh does have
Ain't no
strengths.
way.
Right. Josh does have strengths and he has weaknesses, right? But if we always talk about what Josh can't do, as opposed to talk about what Josh can do. We always wind up in this cycle of what Josh can't do, what Josh can't do. But the dude does a lot of good stuff. Like, for instance, if Josh is not a good 3-point shooter, why can't we use him at the elbow so he can be a decision maker and pass the ball to 3-point shooters? We know Josh can be a high value assist man if given the opportunity. Now, are all his decisions great? No, but Josh has what, 8 triple doubles this year? That
Yeah,
means
to the first
9, I
game.
believe.
a 9, right? 9, right? That means Josh, at least in a limited capacity, can get you double-digit assists in the right situation. So why don't we play to that?
You would have to
And,
ask
and
Thomas Thibodeau though.
you're
I
right.
think
And we need to keep him on the weak side of the court. That way, his man is far away from what we're trying to work at on the strong side, because that's where Cat is,
they
and Jalen
still they
Brunson is.
still
Well, that's
overload.
about scheme, man. That's
That's
about the coach. That's on the coach.
they still overload even if he's on the weak side anyway. But my thing is, you notice, if you remembered, we played the Lakers, and all we did was bring Josh up to the level to the screen and use him as a short roller, right? Because
Right.
that's the only way we could get them to even attempt to unclog the paint. Because in order to do that, you got to make the centers move their feet. You got to have them in the action somewhat, even if they're playing deep drop anyway.
Right.
But if you keep showing good defenses the same look over and over, they'll figure out how to slow that down, that Josh into the action play. Like, we've seen it, which is
Right.
why, like, recently in the games we've lost, especially against the Cavs and like the Pistons, we haven't really gone to that. Well, he didn't play against the Pistons, I don't believe, but against the Cavs in particular, we haven't gone to him being in the action because teams already load up and already know how to guard that. And I don't think Tips want to throw
That's
that out there.
lately. That's lately. In that first game, though, that we lost to Cleveland, where Cleveland jumped out on us, and then we reeled them in and took the lead. It was because Josh Hart was doing this exact same thing, and then Josh Hart got injured, left that game. Cleveland reeled us in again and beat us. That's how they extended their winning streak in the very beginning of the season.
Yeah, we were up like 13, 14, something like that.
Yeah.
That's how they got number 11 at that point right there.
And so the thing is, if taking into consideration, listen, I know the fans of the team and fans of basketball and things like that will point out certain things that a guy can't do. Trust me, I host the show. I hear people talk about cat rim protection all the time, right? But we rarely talk about what cat brings that's positive, right? I get it. With Mikal Bridges, we constantly talk about what Mikal Bridges can't do, right? But we don't talk about what Mikal Bridges can do. The same thing with what Josh Hart can't do. We rarely talk about what Josh does great. Josh does a lot of things great, right? The only thing is the way that they do it. Josh does it in a way that sometimes make you scratch your head. It's like, are we gonna get good Josh or bad Josh on back-to-back plays or whatever, right? I would consider this. If we talk about Josh, I think the things that we should look at is maybe be more balanced about Josh. I agree, right? But the thing is, like I was telling Corey Lee about Mitch. When we talk about Mitch, we talk about so many superlatives that we don't talk about Josh Hart himself. Or Mitch himself. Like, I feel like Mitch screens himself open, and we rarely throw the passes to Mitch so that Mitch can finish around the rim. We rarely take the risk of
Facts.
passing that ball in traffic, right? We rarely do it. Probably never do it. I'll say never do it. The thing with Josh, we know Josh can be a good decision maker against certain teams, right? I think we should give Josh the opportunity to be that. But you don't always have, like what Dre said, when you have the same look, teams can defend it because they've seen it, right? I don't think you should just go to that look, right? I think you can design stuff to get to that look.
Yeah.
Right.
You can disguise it and then bring it right back into the
right.
play.
Yep.
And
Yep. Yeah,
That's a level of creativity that I don't believe we possess from a
oh,
head coach.
okay.
That's the issue.
Okay. Well, that's not Josh's
Well,
issue. That's the coach's
That's what.
issue.
Remember what I said before? It's not even a Josh thing. It's a Tibbs symptom. It's like a symptom.
Okay.
boy, you don't spare no moments to kick Tibbs in his back.
Hey, look, man. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Corey. We should have way more than 51 wins, even with Brunson missing all them games.
Yeah,
The
I don't.
talent,
Yo,
the
I
talent
agree. Yo,
speaks
no,
for itself.
listen. I understand that, but also too, the talent itself has to want to do that. I'm not saying that Tibbs is. Yo, listen. I'm not gonna apologize for because I put a lot of this on him, and I expected 60 wins. I expected to be in the second seed at least. That's
But
what my
Corey,
expectations were.
But at the
But listen,
at the time that we made that prediction, we didn't know Mitch was going to be out until March, though. To be fair,
to be fair, yeah, to be fair,
but
you know
Corey,
what I'm saying. So hold on a second, bro. Let me get this off real quick.
go
Okay?
cook. Go ahead. I said
Tibbs,
cook.
Tibbs was riding on a donut most of the season.
right?
Ah,
He was riding on a donut on the expressway, going to Florida from New York. That's a 12-hour ride, and the roads ain't always smooth.
but here, Corey, he was riding on a donut, but it was a Ferrari that he decided to put 87 gas in.
Hey, that wasn't always, but that was
He
always
put
his whole
87
total shit.
gas in a
Hold on a
Ferrari, and
second.
you wondering why
Hold on a
it's not
second.
performing.
Somebody gave him that car to lease.
Hey, hold on. Hey,
Nah.
let
He
me just
definitely
say
put
this
a
real
down
quick.
payment on the car because he wanted that roster.
So I'm gonna just do this real quick. Hey, um, um, so if you new here, thank y'all for rocking with us, man. Please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. I think YouTube took us out of baby jail, so we're experiencing some growth. I appreciate that the fact that everybody is coming in along for the ride, and if you've seen this for the first time, just give us a chance. I promise you, the content is dope. So we do it, we present it in a shocking way, like straight to it, like we don't really sugarcoat nothing. And so if that's new to you, just give it a chance, get used to it. It's how we rock. It's all love. We always talk like this to and at each other, right? So
But it's
subscribe
love.
to the channel, hit the like button, comment, consider becoming a member. Just real quick before I get out, because I got to get on the phones at like 8:45. Hey
Golly.
Tori B, you got anything else? You ain't gonna. Why you ain't even say salute to the Bronx? What's wrong? Yo, what's good? You ain't gonna salute the Bronx?
I think Tory may have stepped away for a moment.
I'll salute to the Bronx, man. Shout out to the
But
Bronx, New York. You know what I'm saying? Shout out
I
to the
didn't step
Bronx.
away. I'm here.
Okay, you ain't
I
gonna
did.
shout out the
You
Bronx?
was you. That was you. That was you supposed to do it. You supposed to shout the Bronx out. I'm supposed to take the shout out. You supposed to give it, but it's okay.
them, bet.
that's my girl.
You actually took the words out of my mouth because I came up here to talk about Josh, but you put it out there. You cleaned it up for the people.
Nah,
You cleaned it up for the people because they was trashing it for a minute.
good. It's one of the things though, and you know this because you be here. A lot of times we'll jump in on one end of a conversation, and we will stay there, right? But we never get to we never make our way back to making it fair and balanced. You've been here for the cat defense conversations.
Oh God, yes,
You know
repeatedly.
what I'm saying? Yeah,
Y'all be
you be
driving
here.
David
You've been
Smith
here for the
crazy.
fire tips conversations. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes,
Yeah, and so where we don't make our way back to a certain, we jump in at a point and we stay there
yes,
because we be passionate. So the thing with Josh is we should have been talking, but the only thing about it is, you got 5 people on the panel. They want to talk about a certain thing. It don't ever get to that point.
right.
And so when somebody else bring a certain balance to it, we can get there. You know what I'm saying? That's why I encourage people in the chat. Like, man, when y'all be in the chat, man, y'all got to put y'all thoughts out there, man. You know? But I gotta go, man. Man. I'm tired, man. I gotta get on these phones. Y'all know tax season end tomorrow. So y'all
Oh
already
my
know what
God.
my week gonna be like. You
Hectic.
know what I'm saying? So I want
Hectic
to
is All them people trying to get extensions.
Yeah,
Holla
man.
at y'all.
Yeah,
And I
man.
ain't talking about for the head. Ain't that
Yeah.
right, Tori?
Like Diane did it. You remember? Hey, you remember Lee? You remember that? Remember
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You killed it right there.
yeah,
You
man.
killed it right there. Stop showing our age, though, bro.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
know what I'm
my
saying?
bad. My
I,
bad. My bad.
I know I'm a silver fox, but I can't expose that to all the ladies. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So let me.
but
So let me
oh, go ahead, Freeze.
just real quick. I want to thank NBA Economy Show, Fritz Alcindor for coming through. Want to thank DJ Cash for coming through. IKBM Dre. Want to thank IKBM Dre for coming through. Want to thank Allah Wise for holding down the chat with Andios, whatever. Ribs, if you out there, bro. Peace to our guy Ribs. Salute our guy Ribs. Thank you to Corey Lee for coming through. Hanging out. Tori B. I appreciate you coming through. It's the first time. Hope it won't be the last time. Want to thank all the subscribers, everybody for making the channel dope. Y'all got anything to say before we get out of here?
Well, you know I do.
Let's
Okay.
go Knicks. Hopefully we sweep them boys.
Yeah, no, I do. Number one, I want to say Tori B, thank you, because I try to extend an invitation and let her know that you come up here and get off, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? That means a lot to me, and I'm glad she, you know what I'm saying, she did what she did tonight, and it's always open to you, my dear. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
You
Tory
speak your
B's
mind,
compliment.
queen.
Hey,
Speak your mind,
shout
queen.
out to my people from Bronx River too. Shout out to Bronx River. I just want to say that real quick.
Yeah,
Shout out to the
shout
Bronx
out to
in
Gun Hill
general.
Road and to the 718 part of Brooklyn, to the Bronx and Brooklyn and Queens. You
Shout
know
out
what
to
I'm
White
saying?
Plains Road too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, to them Canadians. And
Yeah.
also too, one will say something. I want to say something real quick. You know what I'm saying? Knick fans, this is the time we come together. The regular season is done. Let's put our biases away. You know what I'm saying? And can we support this team as a whole? And you know what I'm saying? And because they need it. Energy is everything, and how you put it out there from your voice, from your body language, from your attitude. It's everything, you know. And the Knicks need it right now. If we're gonna get to the promised land where we need to be, try to get that Larry O'Brien, because we've been fighting for it for the last 5 years. You know, change came and it's here. And if we got to make another move, so be it, inshallah. But with that said, yo, thank y'all. I appreciate it. Shout out to my brother Bully, Wise, Ribby, Soulfinger, Freezy, Dre, and all the good people around here. I
Word, bro.
appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all because y'all make me a better man every day. I holler at y'all. Not only just that, you make me a better father. You change my perspective on a lot of things, and I'm done. Peace.
All right. Hey, and thank y'all, man. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
All right, y'all, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get some sleep.